And why not? Let's do another one. The Modern Eater Show live, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter. Thanks for tuning in today. It's Thursday, March 33rd, Jay.
Yes, it is all day long.
Yes, it is. Or April 2nd. Those people that are staking claim to April. Day 18 out of 57, 39 days to go. We do the countdown. 39 days until dining rooms will be opened for business and restaurants. And I think people are ready right now.
I'm ready.
You are?
Yeah.
You never really went out in the first place.
No. And I was talking with somebody on the phone today, and I'm like, my life is, kind of the same as far as when I'm done here. I don't do too much.
Well, you're working hard, and we're working hard right now. Big show for you today on this March 33rd, 8th day of sheltering in place. And as folks are accumulating now, I think a lot of people are going to be anxious to hear from Chef Josh Niernberg. And we've been trying to get Josh on the show for a little while. And it's not that he didn't want to or can't. It's that he's on the line. He's working hard, like a lot of the other chefs right now, just trying to prep and get ready for service. And so we'll check in with Josh probably in the next couple of minutes. So folks that are joining us, welcome. The Modern Eater Show. I'm going to do the same things you do. Share this video.
Share it. Sharing is caring.
It really, you don't like likes? I want to see folks. I want to do a roll call. Those of you folks that are watching on any other page than the Modern Eaters page, just click on the Modern Eater, head over to our link on Facebook. That's where you can communicate with us during this live show. We're going from 2 to 5 p.m. 5 p.m. will be the stop time today. Chef Dave Hadley from Bud Long and Hamburger Stan is going to join us as well. 3:30, Jared Leonard's going to check in from Stone Soup Collective. Austin Adams from Ballmer Peak Distillery. They're doing some good things with hand sanitizer. They're going to show us how it's put together, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're doing a lot of hand sanitizer for the first responders, and they're just cool guys. We had them on the show. They're cool guys, so we'll catch up with them.
Thank you. Johnston The Spice Guy, he's out doing rounds today. He's going to drop, I think he's going to Bird Call. At 4:15, we'll check in with Zach Johnston from Bird Call. Johnathan Shikes, Colorado Beerman, he's going to join us. There's all kinds of cool stuff that people are doing virtually right now. Have you done a virtual happy hour, Jay?
No, I have not.
I mean, that's how you're going to date right now.
Now, let me ask you this. So when you say virtual happy hour, does that just mean like you're on the computer and you're drinking and you're having, hey, and then other people are doing the same thing, and that's your virtual happy hour?
Yep.
That's not who I am.
Well, it could be. It's not who anybody was. This is a new normal. Folks are joining us. Welcome. Roll call on the Modern Eater Facebook page. Say hello. Say hello to us and throw us a love or a like or even a cry or an angry, however you're feeling. Throw that to us on Facebook. Folks are joining us, standing by for Chef Josh Niernberg from BIM 707 and Taco Party. Again, 4:30, Johnathan Shikes, 4:45, Dr. Sara Metz. That's Dr. Baby Yoda. And Dr. Baby Yoda is going to join us to do what she does best. Cheer us up. Give us some good counseling. The man of the hour, I think he can hear us. And right now joining us to the show is Chef Josh Niernberg. Can you hear us, Chef?
I can hear you.
Ooh.
Of course, your audio's a little sketchy right now. Can't really hear you very well, Chef. What do you got in the way of audio? We can hear kind of the background, but the audio's a little shaky. Whoa.
Yeah. So let's do this. Chef, can you hear me? Put the thumbs up if you can hear me.
You can hear us, and we can't hear you.
Okay. Exit out of that room.
If you can, he's got gloves on. I know. We're already inconveniencing Chef, and now we're asking him to close the chat room and then join back in, and let's see if we can get a better connection. Or even better yet, he's gone. So, restart your phone. While we wait for the Chef, I want to tell you a couple of housekeeping things that we're going to be doing. And here on the live stream, if you're enjoying this live stream, you're going to want to just click your notifications. And anytime that we go live, it'll give you a notification. I think the Chef is back with us. Can we hear you now, Chef?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, here we are. Chef Josh Niernberg, you are in BIM 707 today, right?
That's correct.
You're in that bunker, the down below beautiful bunker that you have.
I'm in my prep hallway, which is adjacent to our main line here. So there's the front of the restaurant.
Oh, okay, you're upstairs.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, first of all, and folks are joining in on the Facebook stream right now. We do have a text line at the end of this. After the end of the interview, we'll field some questions, and if you want to join in on the text line, it's 720-715-3311, 715-3311. Okay, Chef, here we go. We know you're busy, and this was kind of you said, hey, Greg, if you want to talk to me, you know what, I'm going to be working. I said, deal, done. I'll take it. So thank you for that. First of all, let's do this, Chef. For those folks that don't know you, could you spend 30 seconds talking about yourself and then another 30 seconds talking about your restaurants?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so my name's Josh Niernberg. I am chef and co-owner with my wife of Bin 707 Food Bar, Taco Party, Dinner Party, which just recently turned into Bin Burger, and we've got a food truck as well here in Grand Junction, Colorado. We've been out here for about 10 years. We started the restaurant in 2011. Bin 707 focuses on regional, seasonal kind of Colorado cuisine. And then Taco Party, we opened in 2007 as sort of an extension to that. Contemporary Southwestern cuisine, counter service taco shop, completely unexpected and unlike anything else I've seen, more as an extension of what we do at Bin 707 than it is like a traditional taqueria. But that's what we do.
Yeah, and you do it well. So one of the things that I've fallen in love with you is not only just you as a person and how you treat other people, but your philosophy on food. Take a second to talk about that scratch mentality that you have.
Well, so the whole purpose of the restaurant, when we opened the restaurant, I had been in the Front Range in the restaurant business for some time, and it was the middle of the recession. We were living in Grand Junction when the recession hit. Grand Junction was completely dominated by the oil and gas industry, and it was hit really hard. So we were looking throughout the state on what we wanted to do if we were going to move back to the Front Range to get back into the industry there. Maybe go to Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, a mountain town somewhere. And the more we looked, the more it occurred to us that we had the opportunity to showcase what's here, which is still to this day not something that's super prolific, but we're sandwiched between two AVAs, American Viticultural Areas, the Grand Valley AVA and the West Elks AVA. So we've got all of the states, most of the state's wine growing and wineries are here basically as our neighbors. We've got agricultural hotbed. You know, I'm 10 miles from Palisade, which is we saw the opportunity to focus on what we had close to us as a way to drive the restaurant. When we opened, we didn't necessarily do that as a way to drive cuisine. It was simply to source local ingredient-based and showcase what we have. But as the years have gone on, we've gotten more into focusing on what that cuisine itself looks like. What does Western Colorado cuisine look like? Both on a historical reference, but also in the direction that it's going in the future. So, you know, we're Good Food 100 recipients for all the restaurants. We're James Beard Smart Catch leader at Best Restaurants. We work with Slow Food quite a bit, and we just do what we can to use and to showcase what's available to us. I guess the last I'll say on that is our menus are quite literally designed by what's walking through our doors rather than what we want to cook.
Literally everything from scratch.
Yeah, everything from scratch, 100%. You know, we do have a cheese and charcuterie program, which is kind of the exception of the scratch, is we don't have full HACCP plans in place to do dry curing, but we do a lot of our own charcuterie. But at the same side, you know, partnering with people like Chad Nalen from Elevation to showcase his products that are made in Denver, or, you know, there's cheeses all around the state that are just absolutely incredible. So our cheese and charcuterie would be an example of stuff that we don't do in-house from scratch. But outside of that, you know, there's a crew of 4 of us in this kitchen right now, and between the 4 of us, you know, making pasta, baking bread, 100% of our prep for this kitchen and the Taco Party kitchens, in addition to what the work the Taco Party crew does down the street. But yeah, everything is in-house, and you can see our kitchen is. That's my prep area. This is my line. We've got 800 square feet tops. We do 500 guests a day on average for the last 10 years. So we're cranking all the time.
You are cranking all the time. You're just getting a taste right now of just a superb gentleman, Chef Josh Niernberg, Bin 707 and Taco Party. Chef Justin Brunson tunes in on the stream and says, "Hello, Josh."
Hey, Justin, how are you?
Yeah, a lot of your friends are accumulating here. If you have a question for Josh, you can hit us on the stream and throw it out there, or you can text us at 720-715-3311 on the text line. And as we continue, so we kind of got a feel of you and your ethos and just the things that you enjoy. And I've seen a lot of ambitious chefs that start out with this ethos, but as time goes on and costs start to add up and you look to cut corners, that some chefs dwindle down that ethos to maybe a little bit of the food's integrity goes away. That's no shot on them. I know business is not easy, but how have you been able to maintain that integrity within your organization there?
You know, it's relationship based. We've got so many relationships with so many vendors, both locally and throughout the state. I mean, speaking of Justin, for instance, we're working on this beef program with Justin. We've recently changed our beef for our burger and then all of our steaks to be doing, basically we started buying sides of animals, and now Justin's doing all the processing and shipping through us through Growers Organic. You know, it's building these relationships and then using those relationships to drive the menu. So it's not necessarily a cost point that we're trying to hit on the menu to keep the same item on the menu. We'll change the item to be able to use the products that we want to do. So in that sort of ethos, that allows us the flexibility and the ability to be dynamic with our menu.
This is a rare opportunity. Chef is on the line. Get to watch him and his team work. So let's talk about your team. I'm calling it pre-coronavirus. So if I refer to that, obviously you know what I mean. Talk about your team pre-coronavirus and the setup of your restaurants.
So we have roughly 70 employees, of which that's probably 45 to 50 are full-time employees, of which I think there's a dozen of us that are salaried that have been here for some time. There's a couple of salaried managers and chefs that are a little bit newer to the organization, but for the most part, very, very little turnover statistically within the restaurant industry. We've got people that have been here 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Overall turnover has always been really slim. But again, we're in Western Colorado in a community of 100,000 people. We don't have a big hospitality-based community here, so we are importing about 5% of our staff from other communities. Outside of that, we're doing all of our training in-house and just trying to cultivate talent and teach people about what it is that we try to do. Before I returned to the kitchen, I started cooking roughly 30 years ago. I moved to the front of the house, studied wine, spirits, all of those things, got my SOM certification as well. In opening this restaurant, we designed a front of house, kind of engineered a front of house service protocol that I still operate for the restaurants. So we've got kind of our own version of service, both full service and counter service operating. As of today, we have 45 to 50 of those employees still working in the just getting to coronavirus era. We were shut down, of course, with everybody in the state, 2.5 weeks ago. We just tried to be as dynamic as possible. We opened Ben Burger as a way to keep more people cooking and do another counter service format and just kind of keep moving as long as we can.
Okay, now into coronavirus. Here we go. Well, there's a lot of pivoting going on, and some restaurants and restaurateurs are furloughing their employees in hopes to get them back, but layoffs are taking place. And the consensus was when that happened, over 2.5 weeks ago or exactly 18 days ago, that I'm doing my employees a favor so that they can get unemployment, so that they can either look for a new job if they want to, but to put some money into their pockets. Why was it so important for you? And tell us who you were able to retain and why.
Well, so we were watching pretty closely what was happening with the coronavirus. I was actually in Washington early February, and my brother lives in Seattle. So we were watching what the situation that was happening in Seattle before it got to Colorado and kind of anticipating and expecting that. So our first moves were to assess everybody on the staff that was potentially high risk. elderly caregivers or, health issues or what have you. And to try to shift roles to get them off of, if they were servers, get them off the floor and into other roles. We took our dinner party space and turned it into Bin Burger, as I mentioned previously, which allowed us to have basically a third kitchen functioning. We're actually working on getting our food truck up and running, which will give us 4 kitchens functioning, which will keep some of those employees working in back of house instead of forward-facing roles. We aggressively tried to secure financing before we were shut down, and were unsuccessful in doing so. But our goal was essentially what's turned into the Paycheck Protection Program, to secure financing so that we did have the ability to keep all of our staff on, not furlough, not sent to unemployment, pay them while we were potentially impacted and possibly closed, and then keep that staff. Again, with such a small amount of hospitality here in Western Slope, if we were letting staff go, chances are pretty good that we wouldn't get them back on the other end. They would be forced to move. They'd take jobs in other industries, etc. So we really want to do our best to take care of our own first. You'll say that, as I mentioned, that financing didn't work out. Right now, all of us are in the same game of trying to get Congress to act and to act in a way that's appropriate, specifically for restaurants, in addition to what they've done for the rest of the country. The Paycheck Protection Program is great, but we can't even apply till tomorrow. Probably won't see financing for the next several weeks. Right now, we're running a risk versus reward scenario that we want to stay cooking and stay in operation and keep people employed as long as possible. Mm-hmm. We have requested that all of our employees apply for reduced hours unemployment so that they're in the system, but to keep them working until we are either forced to close indefinitely, we're able to receive a PPP loan, or potentially just to carry us through if we don't ever have to close. We are definitely benefited. As of today, I think there's less than 20, maybe 16 or 17 confirmed COVID-19 cases here in Mesa County for the entire county. So our risk versus reward scenario still is very low. My hope and goal right now is that we can continue on bringing in a little bit of revenue to the restaurants to keep people employed, both on salaries and those full-time employees, until we're able to receive the Paycheck Protection financing. And then at that point, we'll be able to close with 100% of our staff covered if we need to. But from all along, our goal is to keep 100% of our employees.
I think you're seeing why we're in love with Chef Josh Niernberg, and you're probably falling in love as well as the chefs join the chat room. If you have a comment, you can do it right here in the Modern Eater chat room on our Facebook stream, or text us 720-715-3311. And we'll answer as many as we can. Chef Josh Niernberg, generous enough to allow us inside of his kitchen right now. Talking about rehiring or onboarding, if you were to have folks leave or just to start from scratch, is it about $1,000? How much does it cost usually to bring someone on board with training and hours and everything else that goes along with that?
I mean, it's hard to say. It's kind of by role. More than anything, it's not a cost, it's a time commitment. And the time commitment, it's difficult to sort of get up to speed with the knowledge base needed to be able to have that tableside knowledge, whether it be with our wine list, our spirits, our cocktails, especially our food, and then past that, how we go into our sourcing and the stories. Because ultimately, what we're trying to do here is storytelling and kind of represent sense of place here for Western Colorado. So it's not so much that it's a cost factor, it's the amount of knowledge that we lose and would start over from scratch if we were to lose all of our employees to other industries. Sure,
absolutely. Makes perfect sense to me. So one of the things that strikes me from our conversation thus far is, as we talk about ethos and employees, folks that work for you, relationships. Right now, Chef, we're seeing that people are doing business with people, not necessarily brands doing business with brands. And so with that same thought of people doing business with people, those relationships from your vendors, all the way down the line, kind of keep you honest, right? I mean, you're supporting, it's that ripple effect. You're supporting them as much as they're counting on you as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
To keep this going. So with that in mind, I want to talk about moving forward and things that you're doing right now that are innovative. I know that we talked about you changed up your menu a bit, and I'm actually on your website to see that. Talk about what your menu resembles right now and how you're able to disseminate it and some of the structure that you have in place for that, whether using Grubhub or folks that come pick it up, or if you do that in-house.
Sure. Well, let me just start with a precursor that every day might as well be a new day. So for the first 10, 12 days, until I think I mentioned when we were speaking yesterday, today is like day 2 of any sort of normalcy routine that I've had since this has started. But, as mentioned, the first thing we did was build out Ben Burger as what was our lunch menu here at Ben 707. When we did that, we closed here for lunch and went to an abbreviated dinner menu. We're still serving our a full abbreviated dinner menu, so probably 12 to 15 items on our dinner menu here at Ben nightly, in addition to what was previously our lunch menu all day long, 11 to 8 down the street. We also have our full taco party menu. We're doing pantry stuff from all restaurants, bulk ice creams, bulk soups, etc. We were really lucky to have made the switch to a new POS system and employed Toast earlier this year, which allowed us the flexibility to go online with everything really quickly. In addition to that, we're doing a family meal, a 4-course family meal for $30 a night here, and then we're doing wine pairings from our wine list to that as well. We do our own barrel select bourbons as well. So when we closed, we had roughly a barrel of Buffalo Trace and a barrel of Elijah Craig. So we're selling our own, one-off branded Ben 707 food bar, Buffalo Trace and Elijah Craig bourbons, both by the case and by the bottle, that you can order online for us to, do curbside takeout or delivery.
Isn't that bizarro world?
It's like, we're batching cocktails, we're shaking things to put in to-go cups, we're selling cases of whiskey for delivery. It's nuts.
Yeah. It's the Wild West right now, Chef.
It's always been the Wild West, but now it's just the wheels have fallen off.
Uh-huh.
We looked into delivery services and aborted pretty quickly, and the cost that we would have spent on delivery service, we just put into insurance to cover all of our servers as drivers. So that gives us a workforce of servers doing deliveries for us, again, with the ability to have Toast to field all this ourselves. Definitely a big learning curve of how to schedule our deliveries and whatnot. But, as of now, I'm posting a menu for the following day, a day ahead of time, that you're able to go in through our website, link through our Instagram page, to place an order for a 4-course menu to be delivered to your house with a case of whiskey or wine or whatever else you'd like with it for the following day or week or what have you, which is, if there's ever a silver lining, the silver lining is the flexibility that this has taught, kind of all of us in the industry. This is all stuff that I dreamed we would get to at some point, but would have probably never managed to do if our hand wasn't forced. But, doing these new roles, bringing other kitchens online by the end of the week, actually by tomorrow, hopefully we'll be able to accept orders on our website to send to a printer in our food truck, to put our food truck in some of the surrounding communities and print tickets in the food truck to be putting out our full menu for takeout of the food truck in the city next to us, which is stuff that I never even anticipated, figuring out how to make work. But it's that alone is going to be 5 more full-time employees if we can keep that moving.
That's interesting. As I sit and think here, and I go, I wonder if you're a better chef or businessman. The business part of this, did it come easy to you, or have you always been this creative and innovative, or are you just doing a crash course right now?
I don't know how to answer that.
We'll go back.
There's definitely a crash course, but I mean, that's the industry. B, that's the ethos that makes people in this industry successful.
Do you like the business side of it?
Yeah, I do. If I let it, it would take 100% of my time. So honestly, the most difficult part for me is finding time to be in the kitchen. And over the last 3 weeks, my hand's been completely forced. So the hours I'm working right now, I don't recommend anybody ever do. I'm on, I think, day 19 straight of 12 hours a day. I've got a 1-year-old, a 4-year-old at home. But I'm see them in the morning. I'm usually there before they go to bed at night. And if we can stay alive through this, then that's the important part.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the tough parts of this thing is the money. And kind of last week I saw this is where people figure out how much money they have, how much money they need to earn, and who they owe money to. That's always sticky, especially when you're doing business with friends and long-standing relationships. What do you do with that, Chef Josh Niernberg, as you look of vendors and who you need to pay and how much money you have and who to pay first?
Well, kind of exactly that. Again, I've got such a first-name basis with a large portion of our vendors. Without doubt that there are going to be vendors, especially in the liquor vendors, that are not going to be very pleased with me for a while, but I think that I'm probably in the same boat with everybody else on that. But, I know who needs the money more than others, and I'm just trying to make sure that everybody that is completely reliant on the products that they've sold us is able to, keep income coming in. To that, a big part of why we're continuing working right now is so that we can continue that stream. When I left Denver, I moved to Grand Valley. One of the first things that I realized is how much of a small economy a single restaurant, this type of restaurant, can be. I mean, we've had 50 employees for 10 years. We do about 3 million annual sales here. If that was corrected for the Front Range for the difference in menu prices, that would put us closer to a $4 million restaurant in the Front Range with 50 employees. The economy that is in a community of 100,000 is really significant. So if we were to close, not only would we lose all our employers, but we could also lose some of our farmers and some of our winemakers and everybody else. So it's just not an option right now.
Terrifying. Starting and stopping, you're coming to a screeching halt. And I think you kind of got a leg up because you're not one of these restaurants that's just decided to close it down, that these mechanisms to be able to put in place don't work for some restaurants, which is fine. I mean, it's a choice that's being made right now.
Right.
But starting and stopping, to get going again, to get full speed, a lot of with my ear to the ground, some of the consensus from chefs are, it might be one of these things to where we need to work with a couple of 2-3 proteins and maybe 10 vegetables and see what we can do getting our menus running again. Give me your thoughts on that, Chef.
Well, I totally agree with that, but we're already in that boat just because we try to keep proteins that are close to us in the first place. So we're already limited by those proteins. But in terms of building back inventory, it's going to cost all of us a significant amount of money to build it back, our inventory, to get back into operation. As I said, I'm basically fire sailing cases of whiskey and cases of wine out of here just to encourage people to buy food to keep us cooking. That's going to be completely depleted. Here at Bin, separate of Taco Party and Bin Burger, here at Bin, we had probably $40,000, $50,000 wine and liquor inventory that's going to be down to $5,000 within the next couple of weeks. So as we start up, it's going to be impacted on the food menus. It's going to be impacted on the wine menus, on the cocktail list, everything. And that's to say we have a customer base. I think that's really the scarier part right now. I'm not concerned of whether or not I can sell steak if I don't have anybody to sell steak to. Mm-hmm. The benefit I think all of us have is in 8 to 12 weeks from now, even 6 to 8 weeks from now, we're going to have such an abundance of produce coming up. I mean, here in Colorado, but nationwide as well, that it's really going to be able to push some innovation on the menu and using some potentially less expensive products rather than, imported proteins like octopus or similar.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Chef Josh Niernberg, and, as we look to greener pastures or post-coronavirus, some of the most devastating fires leave behind the most fertile soil and opportunity as well. And I think we're kind of seeing who's thinking and who's playing restaurant and who's actually meant to do it. And that's no hit on anybody, but the consensus is there needed to be a correction at some point, as we're getting numbers from the National Restaurant Association that says if within 30 days, if restaurants aren't reopened, that 14% will pull the plug. That's a significant number, 14% just to vanish off the bottom. And that number could rise as well. what keeps you in Grand Junction? And with that fertile soil, I mean, I'm selfish. I'd love to see you in Denver, Chef, and there'll be some opportunity. But what keeps you in Grand Junction?
Well, for a long time after the restaurant started being successful, we started looking at getting back to the Front Range and doing something there. And I spent the last 2 years cooking with Colorado 5 crew, and I was in Denver basically every 2 weeks for the last 2 years doing events. And every time I return to the Grand Valley, needless to say, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, but there's no traffic. Real estate prices haven't gone crazy. Access to outdoor recreation is absolutely huge. I've got a background as a competitive snowboarder as well. Access to mountains, I can be in, Telluride, Crested Butte, Aspen, Vail, Beaver Creek, here Powderhorn in 30 minutes. I could be in Utah and Brighton and Snowbird. All of those places inside of 3 hours, which you're lucky if you're making it to Vail and back from Denver in 3 hours on a Saturday. So the quality of life scenario here is just, it's gotten so much greater. The downfall of that is that our demographic is pretty small, really small comparatively. So we've really focused on tourism and marketing towards tourism, but the quality of life is totally justified.
So basically what you're saying is you're already ahead of the curve again, and we need to all just move to Grand Junction from Denver.
No, you guys stay right there.
We won't do that. Chef, okay, anything you want to add to that? Because I want to end this on kind of a fun note and look around and talk to some of your chefs around you before we let you go, if you don't mind.
I would say that none of us know what's to come in the next couple of weeks, and I think everybody is really kind of terrified of it. But watching what's happening through Congress and the way that Congress is actually coming together to put some of these things in place for us I'm pretty optimistic by it. Nobody has all the answers for what we're going to see, and it's not going to be fun. But I think that there is opportunity for all of us that are, committed to doing the right thing and to doing a good job and putting, kind of our ethos to money where our mouth is. I think that the opportunity is going to be really good for a lot of us to be able to have a solid staff and strong morale and, really become sort of more engaged with our community through this, which is great. I know it's everybody over there in the Front Range is definitely dealing with a much harder scenario than I am. And honestly, we're probably 2 weeks behind you right now. So we're a little bit benefited by that in the sake of the risk versus reward scenario. But, I wish everybody the best over there as well.
Thank you. Last question. Any lessons that we can learn from what's happening right now, either being prepared or maybe from a business angle of, listen, I can't believe we haven't instituted this in our business plan to begin with. It's working right now. We need to keep it.
I don't know if I would go that far. I would say that there's definitely shining a light on some of the parts of the industry that have been really behind for some time that probably won't make it through here. As I mentioned, for instance, our POS, without this POS, we would be completely dead in the water and probably standing out front with a sign in our hand, waving the traffic going by. So some of those things that have changed have been super beneficial for us. And I think that you're going to see more and more of that. Graphic design, menu design, using social media, specifically Instagram and that kind of stuff to help market it's forcing everybody's hand right now. So it's all going to be for the better, I think. Absolutely.
What's for dinner tonight?
We're doing lobster deviled eggs again. To feed you. Kind of some old school, like 5, 6, 7-year-old stuff from our menu. So tonight we're doing lobster deviled eggs, roasted beet salad. We've got some super nice beets that we're working with tonight. I'm doing buttermilk fried chicken. We're using Ghost Rock Farm buttermilk, which is a cheese making operation just down the street here. So really rich, good flavorful buttermilk for our brine fried chicken. Bow and arrow blue corn grits and elevation sausage andouille gravy for the grits, and then chocolate chess pie that we're working on for Ben Burger for dessert tonight.
Oh man! So what time does dinner? What time can people start ordering and calling in their orders?
About an hour and a half.
In about an hour and a half.
Yep.
That's fantastic. I know your hands are full. I was going to ask you if you could show us some of the food. That would take your hands, I'm sure, away from you. If you don't want to, that's fine. I know you're busy. You told me, Greg, come on. I'm trying to work here.
Well, right now, let's see. Looking around me, I got George behind me here. He's pressing some burgers for service tonight. Key, what are you working on? He is pressure cooking some green coriander to make mostarda for our charcuterie. Mike Winston's over here slicing some potatoes for chips for our lamb dish, but no major proteins happening yet. We're doing busy work.
Gotcha. The busy work. How's the weather?
It's been snowing today. It was 65 and sunny yesterday, and today we've got rain and scattered snow showers.
Yeah, same thing here. You're probably looking forward to getting into the summer season to start getting some more produce and certain things in. What's exciting you right now as far as, if we were to back up a month, what was exciting you in the world of food?
We're in that really bumpy part of the year that we just can't get food fast enough. Stuff's starting to trickle in, but it's not really enough to put on the menu. A little bit of like shoots, popcorn shoots, pea tendrils, that kind of stuff starts walking in. I'm optimistic that we've had a really mild winter, so we're probably going to see some early tomatoes here pretty soon.
I met your tomato guy.
Yeah, from Blaine. Blaine will probably have some product here shortly that I'm looking forward to. We've been doing, as I mentioned, we've been doing this program with Justin with our beef, and honestly, that's been the part that I've been most excited about. We're bringing in essentially whole cuts and doing butchery in-house to do daily features with whatever we put on the menu. And that's kind of pushing innovation, whether it be working with, we've been doing like rye berry risottos or milling Colorado wheat to do our own alkaline noodles. Just, it's still middle of winter food right now.
Man, who are you? It blows my mind. Jay's got something for us.
Hey, Chef.
Jay, how are you?
Good, brother. What's going on? You don't hate me. I know. I'm a little sensitive when I don't hear from you, and so I say, "Do you hate me?" He sends back just LOL like that, and I'm like, okay, that makes me feel good,
Yeah, well, I was when we were first getting started, when I missed that text from you, my printer was giving me every expo and to-go ticket that we had coming in.
From outer space, too, right?
Like 5 minutes straight. Just
No, I know. But it's just, but on my end, I'm in the closet. The lights are out, just the glow of my phone. And I'm like, he's ignoring me, He's like all the women in my life. Hey, listen, the Storm Cellar chimes in on Facebook. They're watching and they're like, and they say, cheers, TME team and Josh. I was showing the video I made up there with you last time. They said, such a fun night. Always great to hear Josh speak. And I think I'm going to get them on the show after you, so I just wanted to let you know they're watching and supporting.
Right on.
That's awesome, man. Thanks for peeking into Denver here. We've been wanting to hear from you. We've had quite a few chefs on. It's just that holding pattern, kind of hurry up and wait. But it looks like you guys are just you're running right now. Worst question in the world, but are you steady on business right now?
No, business is a mess. It's ridiculous. Part of that, we don't know what's coming. Every day's a new day. What we'll do. I think yesterday both restaurants combined did just shy of 4,500 net revenue. The day before we did 2. 4 days ago we did 7. I mean, it's like throwing a dart. I don't know how much to means. I don't know what to prep for. We don't know what we're going to do in sales, how it's going to come. And the weirdest thing is cooking for a printer with nobody around. You're standing there waiting for somebody to come through the door and just doesn't happen, but you're completely in the weeds. So.
They could be coming from outer space, as you told me last night.
Yep, from outer space.
I love it, man. A lot of friends back here on the Front Range, and we miss you, and we'll see you soon. I can't wait to just get out on that beautiful patio on a nice summer day and just, shoot the breeze with you, Chef. Just catch up the way that we did old times.
Amen. Looking forward to it.
See you soon. Thank you, brother. There he is. Chef Josh Niernberg. What do you do with that, Jay?
Man, that dude's a class act. We talk to a lot of people on the show, and you hear us say, man, that I say it a lot of time, like, I love that guy. What a great person, great chef. Man, but that's really the truth with that dude.
Who do we have here, Jay?
We have Jamie Henderson from Storm Cellar.
Oh, cool.
Can you hear us, Jamie?
They were there.
Yeah, they were there. They fell off. If you can hear us.
They're there. They're back.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Hey, guys. I remember you guys.
Yeah.
How are you? Did you hear the Josh interview?
We got a portion of it. We were in for lunch, so it was perfect timing.
Cool. For our guests here, and this is actually a surprise, but from Storm Cellar. Guys, introduce yourself to our audience and then talk about your business.
Yeah, I'm Jamie Henderson. My husband, Steve Stees, and I, we farm out in Hotchkiss, Colorado. Been farming and growing grapes since 2017, and we are a winery as well. And we specialize in high elevation wine and rosé, and we only use 100% Colorado fruit. Much of it we grow ourselves.
And our connection here, the great connection, is with Josh Niernberg. We were members of the Colorado 5 team with him last year and got to work with him on all the Colorado 5 events, which was an amazing experience to work with Josh, for sure.
Absolutely. So we're calling it pre-coronavirus and post-coronavirus. Right now we're sitting in the midst here in Denver of day 8 of shelter in place and day 18 since the dining rooms have been shut down here in Denver out of 57 with 39 days to go. Everybody's in that holding pattern. It's interesting things we're seeing. What do you guys, do you have something to add in that sense of just this hurry up and wait?
Yeah, hurry up and wait's a good expression. Right now, we are in 2 days, we're going to start pruning our vineyard. And we've been kind of up in the air as to whether or not we can hire staff, keep staff. That's been a challenge. So pruning can't be postponed, for 2 months. It has to be, it's a critical period. So the time sensitivity and just really trying to make sure, funds are available. Just all the small business administration, like loan process and such, has just been kind of keeping us away from the tasks we need to do at hand, like winery work. We've also completely flipped our business model. Let Steve chime in about that. But
Sure. For those of you who don't know us, I know this is an intro for a lot of us, but Jamie and I were sommeliers in Denver, running restaurants there for almost 20 years, and that was our background. We thought that was our niche market. We had this super unique angle in the Denver restaurant scene where we knew all the wine buyers and tons of chefs and restaurateurs. So the primary focus of our winery was to try and bridge the gap between Colorado wines and Colorado restaurants. So our primary revenue source and market was restaurants, which instantly disappeared from us. So like Jamie said, we've had to pivot immediately and basically turn ourselves into an online sales platform since nobody's allowed to go into winery tasting rooms either. So
yeah. I can show you, we have a mountain of boxes that are going to go out to UPS right now. So we've been shipping throughout the state. We're having winery pickups here and shipping out of the state as well. So it's a lot of packing and shipping. We're grateful for it.
Probably an aspect of your business that you've wanted to develop is that direct to consumer. Here that goes into just, full on, you didn't have much time to prepare and get ready for it. And interesting, and you talk about food services, the chain has kind of been destroyed with restaurants trying to make their footing. Here in Denver, lenient or looser regulations on what restaurants can do with wine. You're not able to have restaurants, and again, I don't know if there's much money to be made in that, but to have bottles be sold, full bottles at restaurants, and I think Josh is trying to do that too, isn't he?
We certainly do have the availability to do that. We've got some great restaurants. Josh is a prime example. He's been focusing. He's featured our wine a handful of times over the past couple of weeks. Places like Mercantile and Q House. Great accounts have been focusing and featuring our wine. But just like Josh said, it is great that they're featuring it. But is a restaurant at this point in time going to reorder anything? The odds are they're not. Once they sell out of something, they're just going to move on to their next thing and burn through their inventory. So we are seeing those restaurants promote that, which is great, but there are also no new sales, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. So how are you guys doing it, reaching your customer direct, and what are some of your dissemination methods for marketing?
Yeah, so we've built a very almost like an online family through our social media So we're really active on Facebook and Instagram. That has been a powerful source of not only just support financially, but just on a personal level. It's been so great. We've done a few Instagram live sessions, and it's really brought our wine family together, and people are sharing online. So that has helped tremendously, I'd say. I don't know if I covered all of your questions. My coffee has not kicked in.
No, you're doing fine. I think it's time for wine, though, isn't it? I mean, it's late enough, 2:47. Guys, give us that's wine time. Give us an idea of what one of your Instagram lives would look like.
Yeah, actually, I'm watching some of your sponsors behind you. One of the Colorado 5 sponsors is the Spice Guy. And we actually did an Instagram live last night with Zach Johnston. And we did a little split screen because why would we have him on a wine Instagram? Well, we just launched some quarantine tasting boxes. And these quarantine tasting boxes are 5 wines that we've chosen. And we've paired them with some recipes that are pretty easy to make at your house. And we also added to that quarantine box 2 of Zach Johnston's spice blends, and that go really well with wine. So collaborating with him is great. We're also we're doing some music pairings too. So
I love it.
Make it a holistic sort of experience. Something people are at home. Everybody's stuck at home cooking more than they ever have, and we're sure everybody's spice cabinets are depleted or stale. So we thought partnering with Zach, since so much of his business got shifted too, because he focuses so much on restaurants.
Exactly.
Thought it was a perfect partnership, especially with the Colorado 5 family there. But Jamie has a long history in the food and cocktail blogging industry, so she pulled recipes from a bunch of friends of hers. So we're doing curated food pairings, suggested food pairings. We have a local DJ here in Hotchkiss. Our favorite DJ, Corey Stanton, is doing playlists for each of the wines. So really trying to give somebody something they could enjoy at home more than just a bottle of wine, some sort of experience, connection, something during this crazy moment.
Yeah, so important.
Well, that's cool. While you're on here, I'm going to do this for Zach. The Spice Guy is still Colorado's favorite spice company. Hell, he might even be America's favorite spice company by now. Restaurants, chefs, and home cooks can still get all of the goods. For everyone stuck at home, just Google the Spice Guy. Just Google his name, the Spice Guy, and check out the Won't Stay Down box. I think you guys were referring to that. The Won't Stay Down box is the ultimate quarantine spice kit. Obviously, the restaurant business is slow right now, but you can support the Spice Guy by shopping online with him. Great comprehensive website with all the spices that you'll need. But the Spice Guy, he's a proud sponsor of the Modern Eater Show.
Awesome.
Do you see we have a little setup behind us too with some of Zach's spices, but it's delicious. We love the Spice Guy, and we love you guys too. Joining us on the stream right now, and Jamie Henderson, the Storm Cellar. It's good to catch up with you guys. I think we were having dinner last time we caught up at Bin 707, weren't we?
Yeah, such a fun night.
That was a fun. Back when times were much simpler, right, guys?
Yes.
With a world of.
I mean, our UPS truck is here, and we are packing out boxes. So this is like life happening right now.
Yes.
Time to get to work. All right, well, just grab the camera, turn around, and let's see some of your product, and then we'll see you hand it off to the UPS guy.
Okay. Yeah, here we are. I don't know if you can see. I can't really see the camera. There's Steve. This is Keelan, part of our team members. And
hello.
Hi. You can see. Let's see. I'll show you. Turn it. Go ahead. Yeah. Traffic jam.
Yeah.
But you can see out here.
Wow.
I'm going to turn over and see if you can see the vineyard right now, where we'll be pruning, starting. And yeah, let's what's happening.
Cool. I want to throw a quick analogy in there if you can still hear me. You just said pruning. First of all, why do you prune a plant?
You're setting up what you want for harvest. You're doing it for a lot of reasons. You're concentrating your crop load. You're determining the direction of the plant, and pruning is important not even just for that year, but for the multiple years thereafter. You're also kind of like, it's like a bonsai experiment. You're actually, keeping the plant controlled to control your yield, but it also helps the plant, grow stronger. When you're cutting it, like a grapevine just wants to go everywhere, kind of like a crazy tomato plant. So you're limiting it and telling it what to do, and that gives you a little bit of pruning background. It's very important. It has to happen like. Otherwise, you want to get it done before bud breaks, so time is of the essence.
Yeah, right now what we're seeing, and here's the jump across, pruning branches for a healthy plant or tree, very important. And in business right now, there's a lot of pruning going on. Restaurants have multiple locations, and they're trying to figure out which branch is it healthy, what needs to be pruned to get back down to the nucleus of what's happening in their business. And I think we're seeing a lot of pruning happening right now in restaurants and business.
Yes. And it's painful, but the yield is that's what you have to keep in your mind's eye. You can't think about like the pain of what's happening right now, even though it's very palpable. Hoping for the harvest.
It is a good analogy, though, referencing pruning to restaurants. We've been talking for the last week, wondering what the long-term ramifications of this whole thing are going to be on the restaurant industry. So many restaurants have had to change their model. This whole thing of takeout and people taking food home and doing more dinners at home, maybe that turns into something that is more a part of the average everyday consumer experience. I don't know, but something is going to change because of this whole experience. That's for sure.
We're seeing, right now in such just, the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. It's remarkable times that we're living in, but I've never seen the response from humanity coming together for a greater cause, and the innovation and creativity and pivot points and just helping your fellow man on getting down the road and being better. That's a silver lining right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the hospitality industry, all industries do it well, but people in restaurants and hospitality, I mean, they have hearts of gold. This is like what they're born to do. They're born to spread that love.
Yeah.
What a pleasant surprise. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's been super heartwarming for us here. I mean, we've done some social media posts and some live feeds promoting these packs, and we've had orders come in from friends we haven't talked to since high school, and people from all over the country, everybody looking for a way that they can support a small business while they're stuck at home. It's been some really tear-provoking nights for us. It's been a really heartwarming experience. Super positive.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. What a pleasant surprise to have you guys check in with us today. It was totally unexpected, and I'm glad that it happened. But how can we support you guys? How can people get more information about you?
Thanks for asking that. People can visit our website, stormcellarwine.com. We also have a really thriving Instagram community. It's the same thing. It's at stormcellarwine. And really, you can order wine online. Ask for it at your local liquor store. I know you have a broad Denver audience, but we have a listing on our website of liquor stores where you can get our wine. And if your favorite place doesn't have it, ask for it. It might just happen. We can still travel over there and bring some boxes. So that's
a really great point we've been trying to address right now. We've talked to liquor store owners, and everybody says wine sales are up 40 or 50%.
Yeah.
But odds are strong that that's a pretty specific set of wine. Nobody's going to a drive-through and trying to imagine some wine they've never heard of. They're just calling their old standard favorites. So it's a really difficult time for a small winery that's trying to get a new audience. So that's a great opportunity. Go to the liquor store and ask for our wine right now. That's an amazing way to, or not just us, any Colorado wine.
Right.
Pick your favorite local Colorado winery and go to your favorite liquor store and ask for that for sure. Ask what Colorado wine they have that's available right now. That's a great way to support.
That's a great point. You guys are amazing. What are in the jars behind you?
Spices and it's food. I can't tell you what you're looking at, but we have a bunch of dried beans and nuts, so we do a lot of cooking around the house.
Yeah, we've been ready for quarantine for many, many years here.
You guys are great. We're going to check in with you guys periodically if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
We'd love to chat.
Yeah,
there you go. That's fantastic. Thank you, guys. There you are. Check them out, stormcellarwine.com, stormcellarwine.com, and also their Instagram, too. Thank you. See you down the road. Cheers to you guys. People stopping in today, Jay. We got Ryan Negley here, popped in with some good news. Thanks for this note.
Yeah,
that's a great note.
It's not a bad note to get.
Brian Freeman popped into the back door here, and obviously we're live. Why are you staring at me like that, Brian? Don't stare at me like that. You mean mugging me? It's on your mind, man. All right, we got at 3 o'clock. What do we got, Jay?
3 o'clock, we're going to check in with Chef Dave Hadley
from Budlong.
Over Budlong and Hamburger Stan over in Zeppelin Station. Zeppelin Station, if you haven't been there, it's a must-see. It's a must-check out. But he's going to cook us a burger or a chicken sandwich or both or something like. He's going to do a bunch of stuff.
Let's do this. I want to have some fun for just a half a second, and then we'll try and catch up and see if we can get an open microphone for these guys. So there's a video that's going on. I've gotten like 6 or 7, seriously, 6 or 7 texts. First of all, put this picture of me up when I was
I'm going to do it.
When I was a kid.
All right.
This is going to blow your mind, you guys.
Hold on. Let me.
Jared Leonard's going to be on the show today. Austin Adams from Ballmer Peak Distillery. Zach Johnston's The Spice Guy. Johnathan Shikes from Westword and Dr. Sara Metz, Code 4 Counseling. We'll check in with Ryan Negley here in just a minute. But here's
that picture's up of psychotic you.
How's that there. Psychotic?
Well, I mean, it looks a little psychotic. Hold on, let me put the one with you, and you had some spending some time with a woman. Apparently, let me throw that one up there too.
I can tell you stories there,
I
boy.
Bet you could.
So there's me. There's me as a young Greg, right? A little bit of hair going on.
The headbanging hair.
So there's a video that's going around that's Staying Alive, the coronavirus version. And I got like 6 or 7 text messages from guys that are like, did you record this back, 25 years ago? And check this out. You might get a little laugh out of it.
Yeah, all right. Here we go. There you go. There it was. So there's your picture. I broke the audio a little bit because I wanted to flash back to your picture and then to that video. But that does look like
tell me that's not me.
You reincarnated for sure,
tell
man.
Me that's not me.
I'll give that to you.
I did that a long time ago. Rebecca Berry chimes in. Rebecca Berry. She said, Rebecca, this is you, San Pasquale, right now. We miss you, but check it out. We're going to do some cool things with Rebecca Berry. We're going to have her roving reporter showing some cool things, and she's getting this together at Lever's Locavore for the T-shirts and swag to be able to support. Jay's going to throw together a stool here, and Brian Freeman popped in today. It is 3:01 in the Mile High City on Thursday, March 33rd. We're going to continue on with March here and just spare April. of that. So it's day 18 out of 57, 39 days to go before we go to our favorite restaurants and bars and hang out in their dining rooms and patios. This is the 8th day of shelter in place, and you guys are acting weird as hell out there. Keep it together, you know. There will be life post-coronavirus. The show today is a great one, and Jay booked up a killer one. Chef Dave Hadley is going to be joining us here in a minute from Budlong and Hamburger Stan. If you haven't had a Budlong or a Hamburger Stan, you're not living. And Jared Leonard at 3:30. He's the brainchild behind those two brands from Stone Soup Collective. He'll join us. I love his business mind. We had a spirited conversation on Saturday night and had a medium-size owner-operator, a small-size owner-operator, a vendor, and a manufacturer join the show. And it was kind of just a roundtable discussion. I would encourage you, if you haven't seen some of these videos from the coronavirus coverage, check it out on our YouTube, and we wouldn't be mad at you at all if you subscribe to that YouTube channel, Jay. It looks kind of sad because we never promote it, but there's a ton of great content on there.
Yes, there is, and I know it's one of those things to where it's like I feel like I just can't get caught up enough, and then when I did get caught up enough, you know, but it's there.
Thanks, Ryan. This is Ryan Negley, and doing great work, absolutely, with Kevin Galaba down at Zepp Station every Tuesday and Thursday, just feeding folks that are unemployed, and they're doing a great job. And wait until you see what we're about to cook up with Ryan. I can't wait to announce this. Ryan, this was probably one of the best things I've seen all day. So we'll get on a phone call about this soon. Ryan Negley. Again, Jared Leonard's going to be coming up. Austin Adams, Ballmer Peak Distillery, standing by for Chef Dave Hadley. He's got a great career and just another budding chef in this community. Okay, you got it. Thank you for the smoked chicken sandwich, Ryan said adamantly with an expletive at the end there.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, March 33rd, man. We can keep this going. That's the sound right there is Brian Freeman wiping down a microphone live on the air. We love you, Brian, for that. Comes in here. You better have some good stuff. Hey, Brian, how are you? Oh, we're going to get your microphone on there. I know.
Yeah, there we go.
Crystal clear audio. Have a seat.
Well, I mute him while he's wiping, and then I got to unmute him while he's talking, and I got to do a TV behind him before we show him on camera. So it's still you, Greg.
And then your best friend showed up.
Do one of these before. Oh, Chef is here.
There he is. Chef is here.
Yeah.
Brian, you got to sit down and do something. You're weirding me out,
I'm
homeboy.
sorry,
I don't know
man.
what it is because I'm trying to do a live stream here, and you got to stop acting like a scared cat in here. Okay, in or out, one of the things. So either one, I don't care which one. But thank you, Andy, Jeffrey, Andrew. Thanks for the Modern Eater crew. Yes, thank you. People tuning in, love to see you. Little Rich Snyder on here. Keelan K. Smith says, cheers to Josh Niernberg and the TME team. If you didn't catch that Josh Niernberg interview, I implore you, when this show is over today, make sure you rewind that and watch that interview as well. Chef Dave Hadley there.
What's going on, guys?
Good to see you, my friend.
How we doing?
I'm doing real well.
How are we guys doing?
Doing good. Chef, as you're joining us, myself, Greg Hollenbach, Brian Freeman, and Jay Parker here in studio at Studio Kitchen, Colorado.
How's it going, Jay?
What's up, Chef?
Hey, Chef, I'm curious. It looks like you're letting your hair go a little bit. What's going on there?
I am rocking out the long hair right now. I'm trying to keep it going while. Hey, all the barbershops are closed right now. You know.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
All the barbershops are closed, so it's kind of. I don't even want to be on camera right now. It's kind of difficult to. Just kidding.
Oh, Dave, you're the biggest woman killer we all know.
Just kidding with you guys. Just kidding
That's
with you guys.
when we do self-maintenance right now.
No, man, it's important. Honestly, it's important to kind of keep up with that. And obviously, this is a time for everyone to notice how important that is. Even for the women out there, I'm sure it's hard to tell your husbands, your boyfriends, hey, it's hard to not get your nails done right now. But we're at a point where we got to love each other for who we are.
I was going to do this later on in the show today, but since we're on the topic, I got a confession to make, you guys. I have a confession. Sam Pasquale, close your... Cover your ears.
I'm thinking fast food is what this man's about to say.
Cover your ears right there, San Pasquale. I called my hairstylist up and I said, "Hey man, can you give me a haircut under the table?" You know, it's so irresponsible. She was like, "No, I cannot." This is something that I would love to retain my life. And I've known this gal for like it's a friend of mine, right? So I'm thinking. So at first I took it a little personally, and then I was like, she was like, "I'm not cutting any of my family's hair either, just at all."
I completely get it.
So
Greg, on that, I talked to my barber as well because they are governed. I did not realize the governing board of hairstylists and barbers in Colorado is actually very serious. Because my barber said the same thing to me. He said, just so you know, when we get this notice, we are done.
So today on the show, self-maintenance, I thought, hell, why not? Let's do this.
Whoa!
You ready for this?
Are you serious right now?
Don't do it.
Really
Don't do it. Let me do it if you're going to do it.
For this. We need more beers for this.
Should I knock this one out?
This is real right now.
So, I don't know.
You're not going to do it.
No, if I could get some donations to give to a greater cause, and I think
that's cool.
I think that that's something that we can all do. And if we start kind of this trend of self-maintenance and take care of that yourself, and if anybody would like to raise some money to do that, but let's look for.
Well, didn't we miss that in March this year? Right, there was the St. Baldrick's. St. Baldrick's.
Yeah, we did miss that.
We did miss that. So maybe we should get people on that right now and, and figure it out one at a time. We'll bring them down to the show and shave them.
I was just going to do a little,
little side.
Trim on the, little side,
I actually did the same this morning with scissors.
Did you really?
Yeah, around the ears with scissors this morning.
Self-maintenance, man. Self-maintenance. So let's put something together for that. I think you've got some beautiful locks, though, Chef. I don't know if you would you drill down on your hair and cut it all.
You should have seen when I was younger, man, short all the way through. And then as I got older, I realized that there's something going on with the locks that I might have to keep going for a little bit,
Keep them going. I might trim that thing up here today. I might do a little trim. Let's see
you
how
should let someone do it for you.
No, because that's the whole thing about the social distancing.
I'll cut you
physical
up,
distancing.
All
right, Chef Dave Hadley here with us, and he's at Hamburger Stan right now. But let me let you speak because I don't want to step on this. Talk about yourself for a minute, Chef, and you've got an illustrious career and a bright future ahead of you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me on the show. First off, I'm really blessed to be in the position I am right now.
Well, that's pretty good time. That's pretty good timing. Hold on,
Sorry. I'm back. We're just people calling. Honestly, like I said, I'm really blessed to be in the spot that I am right now. Just because this is a crazy time to be working and living in the food industry. But for me, I came to Denver in 2010 for my internship up in Carbondale, Colorado. And I was working actually at Hotel Jerome for a little bit at Aspen. I didn't really like hotels at the time. And there was this chef there up in the valley. His name was Mark Fisher. He has now the Pullman up there and Fat Thai up in Carbondale. He's pretty well known, James Beard Award up in the valley, and I kind of worked for him for a really long time and grew my own vegetables there, took care of my own chickens, and I fell in love with Colorado. Coming from New Jersey, that's originally where I'm from. I graduated from CIA from New York. Kind of wanted to take the Colorado route because I told my parents that I wanted to work with weed. I think that was my whole idea in the beginning as a young chef was to tell my CIA friends from college, hey, I'm going to be out there in Colorado and I'm going to be working in the medical marijuana industry and I'm going to be trying to make edibles and, all of this stuff. And I came out here to Carbondale and I started working under Mark Fisher at 689. Had a great time there. And the chef there, he kind of told me, he's like, Dave, Denver is what's booming and popping up. And that's kind of where it all happened, where I went to Acorn. I opened Acorn with the guys over at the Source Building. I was there for a little bit. And then I went to Bijou's Little Curry Shop and I worked for them for about I've worked for him for about 3 to 4 years. We are working. You could tell Jared that we'll move a smoker in just a second. Hold on. We're gonna do this.
Okay, what are we doing?
We're doing this real quick. I'm gonna show you what's happening right now with Stone Soup Collective. All
Sure.
right. I know you guys have Jared. I know you have Jared on later today.
Oh man.
But we're in the process right now. I'm gonna show you guys. We're in the process right now.
I hope we don't lose the connection here.
We're not gonna lose it. Jared says that I can continue to do this thing real quick. We have this big smoker, as you can see right here.
This is the one you just picked up from Texas, right?
No. This is a smoker that's from Zeppelin. We're moving onto our U-Haul to move to Evergreen to work on our projects that we're working on, which is crazy right now.
Campfire. I'm super stoked.
Which is what I get to do, which is so awesome, which is what I was trying to get to at some point. But anyway, I was at Bijou's little curry shop for about 3 to 4 years. And while I was at Bijou's, I got the chance to work on Diners, Drives, and Dives with him with Guy Fieri. I met the guys from Food Network, had a great time over there. And then those guys were like, hey, you should come and try to do your own thing. And I was like, no, I'm not anything special. Like there's nothing that I could do to try to be on Food Network. And then I eventually went to my own place called the Preservery. I opened the Preservery, I think in 4 years now, 2016.
Are they still around? Did they make that, Bijou?
Yeah, man. So Bijou right now is closed right now. He should be back. He's been doing great. Hopefully he sticks to doing what he's doing because South Indian food is so important. I think just the idea of ethnicity is so important in Denver. We're kind of missing that little stint of ethnicity and fusion. I think now we're coming about that with Hop Alley and Q House and Softa and all of these things opening that are kind of pronouncing who they come from. I think we need that right now in Denver, especially. And that's kind of why I went to work for Bijou, was to kind of learn really what kind of food he was looking to put out there and what I could do myself, coming from the same spot of India where my mom is from. So did Bijou for a little bit. I had a great time over there. And through that, I worked at the Preservery. I opened the Preservery with my friend Brendan Russell, who was the CDC at Frasca for a time. We kind of partnered up and did this place called the Preservery. I actually worked with Brian from Growers Organic. He was helping us out with all of our product there at the time. And Food Network came back and talked to me about being on Chopped. And I won Chopped. I took my $10,000 that I won, $8,000 with taxes getting taken out, all that fun jazz. And I went to Thailand. I lived in Thailand for a little bit. There's a show on Netflix. If you guys and chefs, I'm sure you've seen. It's called The Chef's Table. It kind of goes into the true storyline of a lot of these people that are out there as regular, normal human beings, like we talked to today on your show. It goes through their storyline, and I was really inspired by this guy named Gagan Anand. He's like the only Indian guy that's on that show right now. So if you're like, what episode? I don't know. Just look for the Indian guy. You'll find him. He kind of inspired me to go out there and kind of push the envelope of what's next for, me at 23 winning Chopped. I'm 27 currently. What in those next years can I do to continue to build my strength up and just my knowledge of working with people and becoming a better manager and becoming a better chef and becoming a better entrepreneur. And I think that's why I went out to Thailand, was to just see what that meant. And so I was out there. I started out there for 3 months internship. You go out there, work for free, 95-hour weeks. You bust your ass. You get cankles on your feet. I was calling my mom like, Mom, I have cankles. Why? What's going on? It's just working hard. And I think at that time in my life, I was so into this fine dining, attention to detail, a bunch of components on one bite type food. And I didn't know how that was going to reach people, reach everybody, because to go to those type of places, you need to pay, $1,000 a person almost to do the courses, to do the 25 courses, to do the #1 restaurant in Asia. That's not easy for everyone to do. And I was trying to figure out how to bring that back to Denver, or what I could do to bring that back. And I'm learning that. That's my journey right now. You know, I came back from Thailand. I started doing some pop-ups. Had a great time doing that. And then I started working in the cannabis industry again, kind of bringing those two things back together as consulting in different businesses out in LA, out in Oklahoma, out in Miami, kind of going there and being the chef to kind of R&D certain candy bars or things that's going on. And then, like I tell Jared, I think, you know, I'm a believer in Christ, and I think like we all need to believe in something. And for me, I believe like I was meant to be in this position at where I'm at, and Jared and I were supposed to meet at the same time. I'm very energetic. A lot of people that know and have worked with me, even yesterday you had Russ on. Russ was the first guy, and I'm going to tell you this true story. Russ, the first guy, when I was 17 years old, I came and I worked at Acorn. He was at Acorn at the same time. That was an all-star team, by the way, back in 2013, 14. Amos was like the chef that's now at Carita. He was the chef there. Steve Ridzikowski, Bill from Smoke, he was the sous chef. Caroline from Annette, she was the sous chef. Like chef, it was awesome. Like it was awesome. And I learned so much. But Russ was the first person to pull me aside and tell me, Dave, no matter how young you are, like you might suck right now, but you're going to be good one day. You know, like you're working with the best people. And I still have a relationship with Russ after, 7 years now. And it's crazy to see where we're both at in the industry.
Talking about Chef Russell Stippage.
Russell Stippage.
Give people the heads up.
Sorry, Russell Stippage from Bordeaux. But it's crazy to see how like he's still been a mentor for me growing up into this Denver industry, and we all kind of have connections with each other simply from one spot being Acorn, which kind of started a lot of our jump inside of the Denver food scene.
This has been one of the best interviews I've never taken part in. You've been doing a great job.
Sorry.
interviewing.
I just tell the story and then
I love it.
All the questions.
Well, all the questions. No,
I
promise you all the questions I wanted to ask
all
you.
The questions.
You've covered a lot.
Oh, I've got some.
You got some, Brian Freeman. Hit him, Brian.
I'll hit you. I think one thing that you touched on briefly, Dave, that's really important right now for every chef and everyone in the restaurant business is understanding all the facets of what the business is and understanding the finances, understanding, front of house, back of house, and how they tie together with the finances right now, because I think this is a real test. And could you talk about how important that is to understand?
Oh my gosh.
And what have you done?
So it's crazy being, going from line cooking to where I'm at now as director of operations for Stone Soup Collective /chef/ working with Jared and building these concepts out. I am really taking in part of learning where this money is coming from and how we need to save and what it means to count by the penny. And this is not just for me as a small or a medium business, right? We call ourselves a medium business. This is not for just a medium business like us. We have partners that are here at Zeppelin Station that are just only one, and that's all they do. And they're family owned, and they're really counting their dollar. They're really the ones that are here every day, counting their time that they're here because they have families that are home and really wondering if it's worth it to be here at this time. And for me, I've had to learn, I think, through the years of money coming in and what your vision is as a restaurant and trying to change forecasting, like this whole fast casual to only counter service only to fine dining. At a time at the Preservery, we were doing $45 entrees of, halibut with Parmesan brodo and all of this nice, beautiful food. And now you go there, which is no offense to them. I love them so much. I think they're doing burgers and fries, and which is what I'm doing now. Hamburger Stan, right? Hamburger Stan, where are you at? Hamburger Stan, right? Burgers and fries, which is what the people want and need right now, which is normal food that they recognize and can relate to. I think it's just different. We were doing food costs at that and paying for organic, beautiful cod that was caught once and brought to Denver from us. And then now we're doing our own in-house beef that's from Colorado, or we're using Rome sausage, and those guys are going to start cranking out our burgers for us. Like that could be that's kind of what we're working with, is working local and trying to be a part of the community. But I've seen that, Brian, of just cost efficiency for food, especially in the different in the different venues that I've gone to, right? Just from Indian food and spices and how cost efficient that is, to working at, and we're going to the Asian store, right? Going to the Asian market. I don't know if anybody's even talked about any of that stuff right now. Like, the Asian market right now is kind of something that people are afraid of right now. But for me, I've grown up with that my whole life, like that's something that's so normal to me. Or ethnic markets, and yet they're doing their true safety precautions. If anything, they're the ones with the masks on, and they're the ones with their gloves, and being as safe, efficient as they can, I think. And I don't think a lot of people give them the time of day, because of, I think, the thought of where it comes from. But to be honest with you, man, some of those guys are the ones that I trust the most. Up in Boulder, that's our Indian market that we go to, or I go to. That's where I get everything.
Hook us in with some of those. Well, I know we know the folks over at the Asian market.
So the Asian markets, obviously, but there's a guy. His name's Raj. He's at, I think his name's Raj, and he's at the Indian Mart. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Love to check in with him.
Yeah, man, check in with him.
And let's go slow. I mean, obviously, so the chef Dave Hadley joins us, and he's at Hamburger Stan right now, and you can see
Hamburger Stand and Budlong.
And Budlong.
Yep,
you got it. You can see the horsepower that they have here, and doing fast casual right now. Some would say once you've done the fine dining, I guess hard to go back, but multi-dimensional you have to be, right?
I mean, at a time like this right now, like I was just saying before, I mean, you were saying yesterday you were eating comfort food, right? That's what people want, man. People want this comfort food. People want food they could recognize. But I also think, especially in Chef Russell's situation, for the community, it's the people that we trust right now. Like, it's trusting that you come to hang out with me, or getting a chicken from Budlong, getting a hamburger from Hamburger Stan, getting barbecue from AJ's, getting a pizza from Grabowski's. You are getting care and love and attention to that product, because we want you back after all of this is over and done with. Because we're going to still be trying to provide that hospitality and love to people, which is what I think we do. I think all of us do in all of our different restaurants and associations that we're with. We're hospitable. We're in the hospitality industry, and it's hard. It's hard not seeing people. It's hard not being interactive. It's hard not talking your head off, right?
I know it. So you are in Zeppelin Station right now. Which stall are you in? Hamburger Stand or Budlong?
I'm in the Hamburger Stand stall. We kind of moved a couple things here. I'll show you guys around a little bit.
Well, I was going to ask you, will you make us a burger?
Yeah, are you still?
Yeah, I'll make you a burger right now.
Are you still across from the bar?
I am across from the bar.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Is there alcohol in that drink?
There is water in that drink.
That's a good answer.
So we're going to get. I love this. I love this perspective.
Do you like this view?
Greg, well, isn't it though interesting? One of the things that Chef talked about is his concept of trust.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you were giving me a hard time as I got to the show, it's not that I don't trust people, but right now I don't trust people. So I am.
But why make me go through that?
All about my. Well, it's just where
I'm trying to do
where we all are though. It's where we all are, and I think
Yeah.
it's interesting because what Chef says is if you trust somebody, you trust. I mean, the scuttlebutt I've been hearing in the last couple of days, Chef, is, and I've been really trying to squelch it, is this concept that should we be worried about our food? And I'm really trying to tell people, no, stop that kind of nonsense talk, because what they do in the field when they're picking your lettuce or growing this stuff at the farms, they're taking a lot of precautions and have always taken those precautions. They do not let workers come in. I know it. I've been in places out in California where to come in the door, you have to go through sanitation and being checked for a fever. And that was part of their protocol every day. So I think that there is things in place in our food system that people should feel safe about that.
I think it's just the amount of right now during an outbreak, the amount of touch points. And that's why as I sit here and I watch Chef Dave Hadley put together this burger for me, I feel very confident in this food and how they're serving it and how they're putting it together. And there's very few touch points. There's not really few. The only person working with this right now is Dave.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I build these relationships with some of these people that come in, and you know what's crazy to see, guys, is them watching this kind of show. It's crazy to see that. I think people miss that. People miss seeing live action, especially open kitchens, of people doing something and being able to like walk away from their spouse and be like, hey, you see what's going on, or kind of watching this whole thing in place. I think it's cool to see that. A lot of people have talked about that to me. Like, it's awesome to watch you make a burger. You can do that at home, you know.
I know. You can watch that. Are you? So a lot of people would. So you squish the burger down there on the.
So
flip.
yes, I do a little press on the burger for Maillard reaction, like that nice browning, and then I take one piece of that American cheese, place that right on top, and kind of natural. There we go. Natural steam. Natural steam inside of that.
Who doesn't want this right now?
Man, I'll tell you what. I'm not joking when I tell you I could probably eat 4 of those doubles.
Not right now.
Man!
Oh my God! Are you
crazy.
kidding? I could. Yeah. Now I'm not saying I'd be happy with myself afterwards, but I could do it. No, physically, I could do it and still enjoy my Diet Pepsi on the 4th one.
But you would spin into your shame hole at some point.
Well, I mean, I would. Yeah, I would.
I love Jay. This is coming from the guy who usually only eats at about 2 in the morning.
At that. So how will that come out? Will that come out medium?
Oh no, we kind of cook our things all the way through, our burgers all the way through for smash burger. I would say it's gonna be about a medium well through, because it's all steam that's kind of giving that natural juice. And then we'll take it, as you guys can see, and I'll bring you guys over to my build station.
I hate you.
So what's cool is about what Chef is doing. A lot of people don't know that Jared was very intentional about his mix for his grind.
That grind is something crazy about, something we work really hard on that. So you guys can see there's secret sauce right there.
Yeah.
Our Chicago bun from Highland Bakery. Then we take our simple pickles that are just at the bottom.
Does it have to be 4? Do you do 4?
We do 4. 4 is very specific about our burger. We kind of like keep it really nice. We also, what's really important, as you can see, minced onions, like they have to be super small. Like I'm talking like baby small, because if they're not, that texture of the onion on there, oh man, it's crazy. Me and Jared both. What's awesome about this is both Jared and I geek out about food, and we like research things all the time about like how systematically how things should be done. Little dill on top. Okay, little dill on the top of the bun, which gives it that little smack. And then we take the burger, we'll put that right on there. Take this, and now you have what we call the Hamburger Stan.
Get out.
Can you cut that in half? I mean, someone's got to eat it. Who's going to eat that? Someone's got to eat that.
I don't know. Nobody's here. Actually, dude, let me tell you how sad this is.
Can you just take a bite out of that thing for us? Just lay it. Just put it in your meat.
Don't do this to me.
Put it in your mouth.
I'll cut it in half for you so you guys can see what it looks like inside.
Oh, and squeeze it. Squeeze
it. Listen to it.
Right?
Forget about it.
It's just it's simple. It's simple.
Chef, that's where the term food.
Nice.
That's
just there you go. How can people order these, and are they available now?
Oh man. Let me tell you guys. It's something that I want to show some of these chefs out there, and some of these owners. Jared, I know he was talking about before online ordering. We do a lot of online ordering. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 or 7 ways. I'm working on 6 tablets right now. So
wow,
that's insane.
So with that, right? With that comes,
does it carry well? Does it send well?
Oh yeah,
Chef, with the bun and all that, or do you?
We make sure. I make sure it comes out really nice. I kind of wrap it twice and give it some love. The only thing is the fries. I kind of wait. So what I recommend, to be honest with you, come and see me. I know it's weird out there, and I know a lot of you guys are like, I don't want to be out, but I get your burger and fries done within 4 minutes, guarantee you. So that's like 100%
and how can people get it
to you?
Do they meet you at the door? What do they do?
Nah, that'd be nice too. You could come on in. Zeppelin is open from 11 to 6. We are still open. We're open at Zeppelin from 11 to 6.
Now Marika will open. Marika will jump your ass if you're not in there with a purpose. You know,
well, that's the thing. She's out there looking to make sure that we're still going.
So basically, Chef, you don't come down with 9 of your friends and try to hang out a little bit and get a bird. You send one person, draws the short stick.
Thank you.
They drive down with a bag over their head.
Be safe.
Be safe. They come in, they get 9 burgers, and then they disperse them when they leave.
You know what's crazy is I have a lot of construction guys. They still are around, and they'll open up their trucks from the outside, and our garages are still open sometimes. One guy will come in, order like 12 burgers, and walk out, and I'm like, yes, and that's how it's done, That's kind of our vision. That's kind of what Jared's vision was, I guess, was this 90s nostalgic burger that people could remember that's not McDonald's, but also we're supporting all these local businesses and local people. And just it's a good burger. When you guys come try it,
Oh, we know, man. I'm glad you said that.
No, you know.
We know. I'm glad you mentioned that. In small business right now, in dire straits, more than ever. If you're in line and you're making that choice, you got $20 in your pocket, and you're looking. Your choice is either do something like this, to where you're supporting local and small business, or you're in line at the McDucks. Do everyone a favor and don't do that. It's so important right now to support local.
Well, but I think you should spend a little bit and talk about the future, because this is, Jared Leonard is a good businessman. And this guy,
he's all right.
He's all right. Come on now. This guy is opening up. Yeah. At 37 years old, Jared has 10, I think, restaurants now in Chicago and Colorado. Yeah. This guy, and he's got one opening up in Evergreen that they just signed the papers for last week. Chef, talk a little bit about Campfire.
Campfire. I'm so excited. I just want to say, Jared, I'm so blessed. Like I said before, I'm so blessed that I think this was the perfect time for me as a hungry, having bandwidth right now and being able to kind of work with someone like myself. We're able to kind of crank this thing out, and we're able to really inspire people to kind of work with us and work really hard on our visions. For me, kind of taking the helm in the kitchen for all of these concepts, which is, I think, a lot of fun on my part, because I am, multi-handed in a bunch of things. But for Campfire, we're excited, man. We're finally ready to bring something to Evergreen that is truly something that could be stood on and stood for that area. We're really looking to bring some sort of homey food to that area that people are looking for, like that corn and that cream spinach and creamed corn and sliced and smoked meats, and burgers are going to be up there.
Open fire cooking, man.
Open fire cooking. Like it's all rotisserie chicken and just very homey food. But old school, like that old school feeling, I think Jared could talk more about where this whole idea comes from. But I always think about, as much as us chefs, like we say we're all about our food, I think about Boston Market, Boston Market back when I was a kid. Oh man, that was something that you go and you're like, yo, that thing is.
What was your favorite?
Good.
Did you like that cornbread muffin
there? I think I like that cream spinach for some reason, man. Like for something, that cream spinach is something. Yeah. But
I got the side. What did you get? I got the chicken and the mac and cheese and the cornbread. Oh man,
so we're bringing it all. We're bringing it all.
I'm a mashed potato guy.
Are you really?
Yeah. We're bringing mashed potatoes. We're bringing mashed potatoes. We're bringing cornbread. Mac and cheese.
Chef, what did Boston Market have in the way? It was something like a tortellini and pesto or something like that with sun-dried tomatoes in there. That was my jam. It was like, give me a bucket of that. I'm like, just give me a bucket and shut up.
Well, but isn't it interesting that this home cooking is what we're going back to? And it's Dave, I don't know if you know this, Chef. I am a resident of Evergreen.
Yes, Jared, I know. He told me you guys are neighbors. I'm like, yeah.
It's totally funny. And it's interesting because I've been up there now 8 years, and this whole thing about a small town without good food. And I don't mean to make people upset up there. We have a couple of fine dining. Well, we have, a couple fine dining restaurants, and they're good. And I never want to bash anyone, but they're not. Yeah. But we're looking
where is
for
the place you want to go every day?
Nowhere.
Where is
not
the place
up there.
you want to go every day?
Yeah.
That's where we want to bring that everyday thing to Evergreen. It's time, and it's for the family. If Jared's up there now, he moved from Chicago, going back to his thing. He moved here from Chicago, and I get to luckily go to Chicago and go back and forth and kind of train and kind of hold on real quick, guys.
What? Hey, sure. Why not?
Well, I love it, but I'll talk a little bit about him why
quick.
he's not off.
I want to tell you about Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions, because Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions, see, what are these guys? The absolute best in the world at barbecue. I don't know. They're really good. But Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions.
Well, they educate you, Greg. That's what I think is important over there.
But they will send it to you to your house now. Delivery, grilling, and barbecue needs. Meat pellets,
and then you're gonna
charcoal, wood, seasoning, sauces, grills, and accessories. Just give them a call, 720-612-7324.
Huh?
720-612-7324. You can either pick it up, 25th and Federal. They're our neighbors down the street.
We're talking about.
We really look forward to seeing these guys again at some of their classes. But
barbecue season is on the horizon right now. We forget about the good things in life, which is barbecue season, Rockwood, that green egg.
We're back.
So I'm texting Jared saying, like, what's up, dude?
We got Jared.
He's taking a smoker out. We were taking a smoker.
Are you having a smoke break?
No smoke break. No smoke break. He's moving a smoker out of here.
Yeah.
He's gonna talk to you on this drive up, he says.
As long as it's safe.
He's leaving now.
As long as it's
so
safe.
You can be done with me, and then you'll be right on jump with him.
Thank you, brother.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, Campfire, we're excited to bring some food out there, and I'm excited to kind of use my skills of just true chefing and some fun-filled food. You know, it's going to be a little different than what people are expecting, because we are looking to do a little bit more of a, chef-inspired concept, I guess. And Jared and I, as a team, are doing this. But
here's a prediction, Jeff. You're going to just flourish. You're going to be right in the crease. You're going to be in the zone, and you're going to
excited.
You're going to kill it, man.
I'm excited, man. I was saying before, I get to go to Chicago and in 5 minutes, at 5. Yeah, I got you.
All right. Sounds like you got to get back to work, Chef.
I'm working. We're doing great. We're working. I'm excited.
Hey, man, thanks for joining us
Thank
on
you
the
so
stream
much.
today.
Come hang out with us. Come get some burgers when you can.
Yeah, we can't wait to catch up and have you come into this kitchen.
Oh,
we have
man.
a beautiful commercial kitchen.
I'm waiting.
We want you to cook in here once all this blows over.
I'm waiting, guys. Thank you so much.
There he is, Chef Dave Hadley.
Chef Dave Hadley, what a great guy. Thank you, Chef.
Next time we'll have him do a Bud Long. Cook us up a Bud Long. Standing by for Jared Leonard and Stone Soup Collective. Great show so far. The Josh Niernberg from Bin 707 and Taco Party. If you missed any of that interview at all, did you catch any of that, Brian?
I was on the road.
Oh, man, you got to go back on it. Everything.
Josh is just such a great guy,
we all know and love about Josh. You just talk to him and it solidifies him. Hanging on to his employees as best as he possibly
Not only a great
can.
chef, but an awesome snowboarder. I don't know if you've ever seen him carve some powder out there.
He's a talented dude. I want to take this opportunity right now as we're thanking our great sponsors, and no secret throughout the years, Brian Freeman and Growers Organic has been there to help build and grow the Modern Eater show. And you've got some exciting things that are happening with a merger of Growers Organic with What Chefs Want. Do 30 seconds to a minute on What Chefs Want.
I'm really excited. This is a family-run company, started and founded out of Kentucky and Louisville, Kentucky. And just really down-to-earth, great people. And the concept was all about how do we take care of chefs and chefs only. And that is, as you know, from watching me for the years, is always been near and dear to my heart. Yeah. You know, I came at it from a different perspective.
Well, you always work so closely with the farmers and the chefs, and you kind of connected those dots. So both of them very near and dear. And here it is. Now they all just merge together.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. I mean, and the coolest thing for me is it's a concept of what chefs want. You know, it's and the parent company of all of us is Creation Gardens, but they want to hold on to that Growers Organic because it's going to be their organic division, and they're going to give me an opportunity to really bring that to light inside their organization. So I am excited just because I'm able to take what we've been doing in Colorado, but now, you know, and listen, folks, it's not that I have always hated conventional food. It's just that I care about our planet, and the way that our food grows has a major impact on the planet.
Brother. Amen.
And that's what I like about these guys, is because they do look at they do care about where our food comes from and what chefs want. And then they have this whole level of customer service that fits in exactly how do we make it easy on the chef. We've created an online portal on you get an app on your phone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can order anytime. You can call, right now our hours are a little shortened just because of what's going on. We're trying to be prudent.
Yeah.
But normally you'd be able to call 24/7 and get someone on the phone via text or live person. And they're in this country. They have access to all of our inventory. They understand what your needs are. And so we're able to really take care of people at a whole different level. Now, what Growers Organic and this merger is bringing is a lot of the retailers in Colorado that we already work with are going to join this thing. And what's interesting is it's great for people like Marzix Foods, for instance. Now Marzix can order everything from us. Now, when you come to Growers, and it's really what chefs want, you're going to get the basket of goods from – they carry 6,500 items every day from, I was given a bottle of this organic, or it's not organic, but it's an olive oil. And I bet anything it is organic. It's a small Italian orchard that's growing these olives. And this one specific lot, they only pick once a year for 6 hours. And that's all the olive oil that comes out of that.
Blowing.
And so it's
be much.
Well, no, but what's cool about it, it's a perfect time of year. They feel their crop is at its credenza. This is the kind of stuff that I geek out over. So just a natural fit with what chefs want. And so they've welcomed me and my crew over there. It's exciting.
And what I'd like to do is congratulate what chefs want to have an acquisition of Growers Organic and Brian Freeman. And I know your ethos of how you feel about food and farmers and produce, that they lucked out. They got some good stuff.
Well, they're good people. I would say it's totally worth it.
Good.
This is going to be a great
relationship. I can't wait
relationship.
to see the relationship develop. And it seems to me like Growers Organic now has some horsepower behind it.
We have incredible horsepower. These are these exciting things because, all of a sudden we're at a place of where now we're able to be a little more competitive with our pricing than we were before because we have a much broader audience. Yeah. And I'm able to support these smaller farmers and help them get up to speed, because one of the things that's very, very important that I've been exposed to now at What Chef Want is a higher level of food safety, Greg. And so the level that we take food safety, not that I always didn't take it seriously, but we're doing it in a different way. That's like taking it times 10 what I was doing. We've got, not only are we certified organic warehouse, we're certified SQF 2000.
And if anybody knows what it takes to go through that, it's you. Yeah. And that's not an easy thing, but keep them honest, would you?
Yep. I will. They're good people. And I'll tell you, everything that I have seen from these folks over at What Chefs Want, I really enjoy. I mean, it's a younger feeling company in a sense because of they have a lot of youth that cares. And remember, I'm pushing 50. So when I talk youth, I'm talking this 35 to 30 something to 40 something range. But these people care at a level that I haven't seen. And I don't know if this is that good old Southern culture of just a hard work ethic.
And we've seen an uptick as we, travel the state with road trip each year. We've seen that uptick of young folks that want to get into agriculture.
Yep.
And I think that's amazing. That's exactly what this country needs.
Well, it's like our Scott and Jess, out at Field to Fork.
Man. They're awesome.
And you look at them, our friend Brian over there running Black Bear Peaches, Brian Cox.
Gosh, I miss all those guys.
These guys is this next generation of farming and agriculture that we need to embrace. Yeah. I mean, not only as a society, but the distributors, because people don't realize that distributors play such a big role in the foods that we eat. And where we went off course a while back was we started growing everything to make sure it traveled well. So like there were berry companies out there, for instance, that they weren't raising or growing their strawberries for the most sugar. They were growing their strawberries so they would be picked and look red when they were picked and be able to be shipped all the way out to New York and still look red. And in my eyes, that's not a strawberry. A strawberry that tests anywhere at like 8 to 10 on the Brix meter, that's not sweet enough for me. I want stuff that's at 14 to 18, something that, you know, and that's the kind of stuff.
I love your passion for what you do, Brian. I mean, none better. You seriously, you've forgotten more than any of us will ever know, and just a great addition to the modern eater. As we continue standing by for Jared Leonard and Stone Soup Collective. And again, if you want to just get your message into the show, we have a text line, 720-715-3311. Remember that, Brian.
Is that text line? Is that Jay's phone? Is that what?
Yeah,
are we gaming out?
Yeah,
and if you need someone to cuddle with anytime, just give this guy a call.
He doesn't cuddle.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't.
No,
doesn't.
He would practice
social distancing. If you need someone to train you on social distancing,
715-3311. 715-3311. And Jay, anytime someone pops in on that text line, he'll read it to you, since it does go to us. That is his
I mean, yeah, it's got to go somewhere. I mean, where do you want it to go? You know?
715-3311. Standing by for Jared Leonard, Stone Soup Collective, Austin Adamson. Man, my lips aren't working correctly. Words of my life. Ballmer Peak Distillery. Have you wondered? You hear distilleries are making hand sanitizer. How? Well, stick around for that. We'll let you know how they do that. And Johnston, the Spice Guy, he's out making rounds today. The very few orders that he has, guess who's dropping them off?
Zach, the man himself.
Zach Johnson.
What happened to Ryan? Wasn't Ryan going to come on and give us a big announcement? Did I miss that, Ryan Nagley?
No, but
where's his big announcement? He was
I'll
here.
Show it to you. The announcement's on here, but it's a secret.
It's hush hush.
It's a good one, and this is what we're going to be doing as far as a once a week collaboration with a major liquor store.
Okay.
You want to see it?
So look at the expression on my face, folks at home. Whoa. Hello. That's exciting news.
One,
Did you see my face, folks? That was a real look of excitement.
I'm glad you're here with us today. They let you out of work, which is fantastic. It's good having you here. Dr. Sara Metz from Code 4 Counseling will join us, as well as Johnathan Shikes. This is cool, man. You know, are you doing any virtual happy hours or anything, Brian?
You know, I actually did a call with my mother in Arizona, my sister in California.
Oh, did you really?
We had, and my other sister in California. We
dinner?
had all of, well, we actually just did a phone call for an hour on a FaceTime.
That's awesome.
And it was, I got to tell you, that was the day. I don't know if anyone ever follows me out there on Instagram or sees what I posted that day, but it was pretty entertaining. I love my mom. She sent me a text and said,
"What do you think? I should do this?"
Well, hear this. This will put a smile on your face. My mom sent me a text saying, "Did Amazon buy Whole Foods?"
Oh, stop it.
No, she did. She did. And she did that text right before we got on this call. And I didn't mean to, I love my mom for that because it put a smile on my face. Yeah. But it was funny because I'm like, Mom, have you gone out of the house in the last 2 years? You didn't know that Amazon bought Whole Foods. But man. So I would encourage people, though, because I'll tell you, by the end of the call, it was something that my soul needed. To connect with family again in these times, because we're not seeing anyone.
Did you know what's up underneath Sam Pasquale's dress here?
Well, I got to think that it's probably one of the things that I use on a daily basis on my stovetop, in my pans.
Really?
And it's one of my favorite ingredients.
Colorado Mills.
Colorado Mills.
This stuff is the best.
It is. And you want to know something cool? I've got pallets of it organic that was just made for growers. We have an all organic blend of Colorado Mills sunflower. We are the only ones that can say we have 100% certified organic Colorado Mills oil.
Colorado Mills, we love these guys, and just keep producing the best sunflower oil around. And what are you saying to me, Jay? Keep going.
Keep it going. 1 more minute.
I'm just saying I've got their website and their thing up. So talk about Colorado Mills sunflower products.
Well, Zach Kreider and Colorado Mills sunflower oil and sunflower products.
Truly family business.
Out of Lamar, Colorado, and we've gone to see the factory and how they put it together. But right now, safety precautions in factories are higher than ever. Yep. And solidifying that was the message that Colorado Mills put out to talk about that safety within the factory. So if you want the best of the best around, I think there's very few places that have it on a retail scale, maybe none, right?
None. There was some hiccups with that in the beginning. It might be at some Whole Foods. It might not, but it was at Whole Foods for a minute.
But let's try and get this on a retail chain, because I think people out there, Colorado Mills, you guys that own restaurants, you know about this. Yeah. Because this is in food service.
Well, 20% less absorption in your food That to me was the biggest statistic that I found. Listen, no one thinks about that. How much oil is absorbed when your French fries go in the deep fryer? How much oil is absorbed when you're putting the fried chicken in the pan? You don't want to eat a big, greasy, sloppy oil. You want to eat food the way it tasted and the way it was meant to be cooked.
Hey, does Jared Leonard know we're doing a live stream right now?
Yeah, it's probably just not going to work out with him. He's on the road and this and that. So, Ballmer Peak's coming up, but there's a lot to talk about.
I wanted to get with Jared Leonard at Stone Soup Collective. You were just watching Dave Hadley, Bunlong Hamburger Stan, and the upcoming project at Campfire. But
I'm so glad those two got together. I got to tell you, when Jared called me and said, "Hey, do you know this guy Dave Hadley?" I'm like, if Dave is available, grab him, because Dave is one of those guys.
Well, he's a little shy.
I don't know why.
And he's kind of he grasps for words.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, Dave's on. Okay, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Aren't you giving the interview? Yeah. He'll be fine.
720-715-3311 as you can get into the studio here, and also on Facebook. For all of the folks that have let us platform this show onto their Facebooks to where you see it live, thank you so much for allowing us to do that. But if you want to sound off and you want to get right into the Modern Eater live stream, I suggest just jumping over to the Modern Eater Facebook page. Last time I looked, Brian, get this, 4,099 friends. So we want 4,100. Will you be our 4,100 friend, please? Just click on the Modern Eater Facebook page, click on friends, and then please, and the notifications. Every time we go live, boom, pops up in your phone.
Well, and I would tell you right now, this is a way to stay connected to the restaurants.
I was going to ask you, what do you think about what we've been doing with these 3-hour live shows on a daily basis?
I love it. I think you're filling a need for the community, the restaurant community that is feeling lonely. They're feeling lost right now without a direction. And I think that, what the Modern Eater and Studio Kitchen has created is sort of like that guiding light right now, that you can still connect with some chefs. Listen, the food industry is all about connection. And that's one of the things that we all get around the table and eat. And that's something that's missing in all of our lives right now, Greg, because we're not going out to the restaurants. We're not seeing our friends. And can you imagine for chefs that are used to getting together every day? I can tell you, when I was on that side of the game, you would have your friend that you would probably meet every night at the Denny's at 3 a.m. to just go talk.
Yeah.
And that stuff's not going on. And I think that the chefs are missing that.
A couple of things. I'm glad you first of all, thank you. And the heavy lifting, Jay Parker. Man, I'm telling you, if you like the production and what you're seeing, and the audio's crystal clear right now, and the graphics, and
I'll give you the audio. The audio's you, except for there's just
you're doing. Listen, and I appreciate you're doing some great heavy lifting right now. But the guests that we're getting on, Craig Tabor chimes in from Locavore Delivery. Greg Hollenbach. Your endurance for near daily broadcasts is incredible. Your love for the industry shows. The Modern Eater team. First of all, Craig Tabor, thank you, but I was built for this. I mean, truly, this is something that my background in talk radio and Monday through Friday morning show is that we're doing 3 hours right now. I'm used to doing 4. So we could do 4 on a daily basis. But you're right. There's no shortage of things to talk about right now. And it's more important than ever. Everybody does. I love that everybody has their social media platforms, and we're seeing more and more people pop up and do lives, and they're their own broadcasters and doing podcasts and just industry type of stuff. I love all of that stuff. Continue to grow, continue to have that community, and continue to support any folks that are bringing you information right now. It's up to you to choose on what you want to consume. And if you consume the Modern Eater, we're just happy and thrilled to have you here. In Studio Kitchen, Colorado, listen, Brian, this kitchen is built for community. This kitchen is built for our Saturday evening show where chefs come in, show off their skills, do demos, distilleries and breweries and products.
This is a place you can showcase your goods and your services to an audience of like-minded folk.
We're not able to do that. So we're kind of just checking in on people's homes and that type of thing. I know this guy right here. You grew a beard since the last time I saw you, though.
Yeah, it's been a wild couple of weeks here.
I see that. Joining us on the show right now, and this is cool. Austin Adams from Ballmer Peak Distillery. Welcome back to the show, Austin.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You're here. He's off screen, but Jay Parker and Brian Freeman are here as well, so you'll probably hear some voices pop in. And we've had a lot of talk. I think Megan Miller, you know Megan Miller, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
If she hears anything about hand sanitizer again, she might jump off a cliff.
Yeah, it's all we talk about nowadays.
I know, but important, right? I mean, important right now. But you guys are some of the few, I guess, that are actually making hand sanitizer. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think there's last I checked, maybe 6 of us in Colorado that are distilleries that are making hand sanitizer now, or at least making it widely available.
I'll take a bottle of whiskey, and we can just call it good.
Yeah, we're making the sanitizer for the inside and the outside. So
that's right, keeping us clean. I like that too.
Greg, has anyone asked about what is the difference? What is the process? Where do you stop and it becomes hand sanitizer versus you keep going with it and it becomes something you're going to ingest?
Great question.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of the other way around usually. So we take all the stuff we put in bottles here is ethanol, and that's the same alcohol that we're using for hand sanitizer. So to some extent, we're just making bad tasting vodka and then adding components to make it more useful as a hand sanitizer, hydrogen peroxide and glycerin being the other components.
Now, I got to believe that when you say it's a bad vodka, we're talking, though, something what's the proof of that?
So, yeah, it comes off the still at 95%. So, 190 proof. And we then add water to it, add the glycerin and hydrogen peroxide and bottle it as hand sanitizer at 80% alcohol by volume.
So it's still about a 160 then.
Yeah, it's stronger than most vodka you'll get, more like an Everclear, I guess.
Yeah, but this was something you would never want to drink.
No. Not even if you're desperate. We'll get you some other stuff to drink if you're desperate. But don't drink the hand sanitizer.
Well, it's interesting, and you know why I say that is because you've got some younger folk watching the show. And when I was in high school, I know that there were kids that were like, "Oh, drink this cough syrup."
I know, but you would smoke leaves out of the backyard too. So you're just a dumb kid. But yeah, you're right. It's like don't drink Scope.
Yeah, well, they do it. They do. Kids in high schools do that.
I'm glad you could put a spotlight on that. You don't want to drink this, but if you did,
it will make you sick. I mean, just to remind people.
Yes, it will make you. You will not have a good time.
So, take us through the process. How do you? What ingredients do you need to put in there to make that concoction of hand sanitizer?
Let me see. Can I switch cameras, or is that going to break things?
Nah, man, that's good. Look at this. That's the war room.
So here's our facility here. All of the hand sanitizer we're making, we generate the alcohol through this column still here. You can see it's bubbling away at a couple of levels here at the end of a run. So this is how we get that high proof ethanol that we use. It's a refracting still that essentially just redistills the ethanol over and over and over again at each level.
How tall is that column?
It's probably 6.5 feet, maybe.
Wow. Okay.
And it's about 6-inch diameter, 6 sections. So that's kind of essentially the taller the column, the higher alcohol yield you can get.
What kind of phone are you working with? I've never seen a fisheye lens on a phone.
Oh, so I've got an attachment.
Oh, there you go. I was like, wow, I am tripping. No,
for the ultra wide shots here.
Now, would you ever infuse anything into the column? I've seen that in some distilleries.
Actually, if you can see that glass section up here, that's actually our botanical basket. So today, I didn't have anything to make ethanol for hand sanitizer with, so I did a spiced rum run with our spices in that basket at the top. So it's a vapor infused spiced rum. That's also how we do our gin.
On the text line, a young woman says, "Greg, can you get your mother some hand sanitizer?"
Maybe I know somebody.
Yeah. We've actually, we've been giving away these little guys, 4 ounce, just under 4 ounces at a time, free to people who show up. That's kind of where a lot of our hand sanitizer has gone. But
you could put some herbs in that, right? You could put like a lavender in there, or no? Will that ruin your still? Will that ruin your columns anytime?
It won't ruin things. The problem that we run into is that it goes against the guidelines that we've been given. There's real specific criteria that we're supposed to follow in regards to what goes in the hand sanitizer and how it's made. And so apart from the ethanol, the only other 2 components, or 3 components, I guess, is water. And then we have these 2 things here, glycerin and hydrogen peroxide. Okay. So that's all that we're supposed to put in it. I know other people are putting other things in, and realistically, you could add some essential oils or some botanicals in the still and get a scent or a flavor. But we haven't started doing that yet.
I just asked that because of the fact that a lot of times people don't talk about things like lavender that are actually antibacterial. There's, pine. There's several different essential oils and ingredients, that botanicals, that are actually preventative, like an antibacterial or an antimicrobial, that are actually like grapefruit seed extract, for instance.
Tea tree oil. There's not a lot of people know that, and I think that now's the time to create more awareness about what is happening in Mother Nature that is good for us. The whiskey, it's always good for us, right? That's right. To that, I think for us, it's really there's some barriers just because we are federally regulated, so we do have to maybe push the CDC and the FDA to actually do some studies with those antimicrobial botanicals and kind of get some facts and some studies done to back up a lot of the anecdotal claims.
Have you been doing a lot of interviews? You got the good setup there. The microphone sounds crisp. You got the headset on.
I was in production in a past life, so I've got way too much gear here, and I've been planning on doing some streams from the distillery where running through our processes and doing some Q&As and teaching people more about distilling.
All right, hey, we got a couple of minutes. You want to just take us through a quick tour and maybe show us some processes?
Yeah. Let me slap on the fisheye here. And
while you're doing that, talk about obviously you're doing some hand sanitizer now, but that's not your model. Ballmer Peak Distillery, pre-coronavirus.
Yeah. So when you walk in, this is what you'll see. Except it won't be
beautiful. What a cool tasting room.
Yeah. So it's about 740 square feet. We kind of converted it from an office space here. Added the wooden drop ceiling and built out the bar there.
And tell the viewers and listeners, what's your exact address?
So we're at 12347 West Alameda Parkway here in Lakewood, right up against Green Mountain. So we kind of designed our production space to be completely visible from this existing window that the Allstate Claim Center had. So when you're sitting at the bar having a drink, you can just turn over and admire the beautiful copper stills that we have.
And that's
in
some
there.
Special bulletproof war glass right there. It looks like a radio production studio glass.
Yeah,
right
it's I guess because this side of things was a garage for Allstate. So I think they just have it kind of fireproofed already, and which is great for us because it allows us to have more alcohol here legally without having to have a sprinkler system.
Awesome. So yeah,
we make 6 products normally, 3 types of rum, a silver, an oaked, and a golden, an Australian style gin, and an unaged single malt whiskey. And everything starts in this guy here. This is our mash tun, 143 gallons. Then we've got our 3 stainless steel fermenters. So these are jacketed and let us recirculate cold water through them to crash cool the fermentation and kind of get things where we want them. We've got this strange arcade cabinet here that's actually our heating element controllers. So you can see I've got these 2 running here. But yeah, they'll this is how we power and heat all of our equipment in the building. It's all electric heating elements that sit down in the bottom of the stills. It's a little messy in here. And then after a fermentation, we'll pump things into our 600 liter pot still, essentially boiling out the fermentations. You'll take like a beer or a wine, boil it, and collect the ethanol. We'll do that twice, and on that second time, we'll cut out different types of alcohol just to collect the good tasting ethanol that we want to bottle.
That's the tops and the bottoms.
To the heads and the tails.
Yeah. Heads, hearts, and tails. Heads come out first, then the hearts are what you're after, and the tails are they're worth playing around with, but oftentimes they're too strong and funky in flavor.
Hey Jay, give your knowledge about go ahead.
Well, I was
you're gonna talk about what's that stuff called?
Fireball. Yeah. So are you familiar with Fireball?
Yeah, I've had my fair share.
So I remember. So this was a conversation I had with Sean Smiley over at State 38 Distilling way back in the day. And so anyway, so that Fireball is technically they put the tails in it. They just everything that comes out of that still, the garbage, the good stuff, a cockroach or whatever, and they're like, that's all right, 8 legs, let's mix it up, and they mix it up, and then that's Fireball. And then also, I'm under the impression that in Europe, it's against the law to use the tails, and somebody tried to ship 10 whatever the story is, pallets of Fireball.
It was a container
to somewhere in Europe, and Europe
got it around
and goes no man, you can take your
tell Jay the truth to this, because I think he's got this mixed up,
because he tells this story as a bartender and freaks
so it's not necessarily the tails that's illegal in Europe. The tails is just more ethanol and water and kind of oils. But in Fireball, they add emulsifiers to kind of help keep all of the flavors in solution and not drop out and have sediment or cloud or haze. And one of those particular additives, those emulsifiers, is also commonly used for antifreeze. Yeah. It's fine to, the FDA is like, it's fine to drink, but it's illegal in Europe to add to food, but not in the States.
That's just because our liquor lobby, but
so the FDA is saying, listen, the quantity of it that's in there is air quotes healthy to consume, but it's still the same thing that's in antifreeze that is in there. And that being said, you don't have to add. You can make perfectly fine, delicious cinnamon whiskey without having to add that to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think the problem with a lot of the bigger guys is that they really want it to be repeatable, pristine, and idealistic every single time, and so they're going through all those food science opportunities to make their product as clear and beautiful looking as possible. Whereas the craft guys, we get cloud and sediment, and we're trying to filter our stuff as much as we can, and still end up with a little bit of fatty lipids that drop out of solution in a whiskey, or some cinnamon crumble at the bottom of a bottle.
Do you have any finished product that we can see?
I do somewhere. I'm running actually pretty low. It's been difficult trying to keep up with the demand of spirits and of
Are you putting a pretty big dent in your supply as you?
Definitely. So this is one of 3 bottles that I have ready to sell. Normally I have a lot more inventory, but making hand sanitizer has been a challenge.
Are you guys getting any subsidies for that hand sanitizer, or is it just a goodwill nature?
Currently not any subsidies. We are not having to pay excise tax on it, which is good, I guess. And we're hoping that maybe we'll get some kickbacks, but right now we're trying to provide it mostly for free to individuals and first responders, healthcare providers. We've already, I think, given out to 6 different police departments in the area in large quantities. So it's just been
that's rock solid, man.
Yeah.
Well, and hopefully they return the favor and support you guys after this is done.
Definitely. That's been
or not arrest you.
Right. It's good to have the police on your side. So right. we're hoping that they remember that we provided them with hand sanitizer. But yeah, the community has been overwhelmingly supportive with everything. And most people, when they come and grab the free hand sanitizer, will chip in a donation or buy a bottle of our spirits to take home, even if they haven't heard of us, haven't tried anything. And so, yeah, we're kind of blown away by the support that the community has shown us.
You're building up your karma right now.
Yeah.
Great job. Austin here with us from Ballmer Peak Distillery. I'm getting my voice back.
Yeah, I think that you have a volume up something over there on you, because I don't think it's me.
Is that me? No, it might be.
We'll figure it out. But I wanted to ask you this. What are you going to do? How are you going to get a haircut, man?
Well, I haven't had a haircut in a long time.
I was going to ask you, when was the last time you had a haircut?
It's probably been 2017. So a few years,
Oh, that's not too long.
Yeah, it's just easier not to go get a haircut, But I have been putting more work into the beard. I've been conditioning it, and trying to keep it a lot cleaner and healthier in these times.
I see that.
How much to be clean shaven tomorrow?
I don't know.
Come on, give me a number. There's a number.
I don't want to put a number on it because I know people that will pay it. So I don't know. That's a really hard question to answer.
2,000 to charity.
I have a charity that I operate in Australia, and I know people that would easily pay that to see me shave it off. So I think I'll have to do some actual math and do some kind of auction or something to really drive up the price.
This whole interview and everything that's been said, that's the only question that's rattled you for a second.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where you can see you thinking about it a little bit.
I'm getting nervous right now. This is
we won't ask you to do that, man. Hey, you and your team are doing a great job. And we encourage people, when the dust settles on this thing and we're back to something that resembles normal, to go sit in that tasting room and support these guys.
That's right.
Yeah, thanks. And we're actually we've just got the word today that we might be able to sell cocktails to go. Normally that was just a restaurants and bars type thing, but legislation has been put into place that lets tasting rooms, distillery tasting rooms, do that. So we might be able to get you a nice cocktail, a quarantini or a quarantiki drink to keep you going.
Keep us posted. We'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
Thank you. There he is. Austin, Ballmer Peak Distillery, and that's Ballmer, Ballmer, Peak Distillery.com.
And do you remember where they are?
Right up the road here.
Right in Lakewood, right off of, if you're going down 6th Avenue and you're heading up to the hills, get off on Semmes, go to Alameda. They're right down the road. Pick something up for the road trip up to the hills.
That's right.
Thanks, Austin.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Doing great work. Just the community is amazing.
He's a good dude.
Want to throw something at you, Brian Freeman. Freeman here. It's a treat. He's here with us in studio today, just chopping it up, as Jay would say. What do you say? Chopping it up?
Yeah, man. Let's chop it up.
A couple of weeks ago, it was fresh, man. I think we were day 2 into restaurants and dining rooms shutting down, and now we can reflect back. It's where, 19 days, 18.
I know where he's going right now.
I know where he's going. I think I'm going to take you down a good road. 18 days out of 57, 39 days to go. 39 days until we get back to our favorite dining rooms, bars, and
at least.
Yeah, at least,
right?
Day 8 of shelter in place. But we're talking as we talk to Chef Josh Niernberg today, and we see other folks that you worry about them. You worry about like the all the great restaurants like Troy Guard has, or Bonanno, and what's left. and they threw it out to us. The folks at what was it? Storm King.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, Storm Cellar.
Storm Cellar.
Yeah, the Storm Cellar Winery.
They're talking about needing to start pruning outside. And I said, please tell us the importance of pruning. You know the importance of pruning, don't you, Brian?
Very much. Very much.
I think the businesses are seeing that importance right now with their business of pruning. You might have this and you might have that out on a branch, and what's the health of this branch? But is that branch taking away from the overall health of the tree?
Yeah.
I think we're seeing a little bit of that right now, Brian.
We'll find out what you do well right now.
Let's get in that conversation. We'll carry this conversation over to Zach, the Spice Guy, here with us right now. Zach, what's happening? How are you?
And where are you?
Hey, we're doing pretty well. I am out here at Bird Call and DU right off of Evans. These guys are probably our busiest account for the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Doing drop-offs, huh? Deliveries?
Well, this is Fong in the back. He runs all the bird calls. How's it going?
Hey, man, what is a bird call? How do you do a bird call?
He wants to know how you do a bird call. We're trying to keep socially distanced.
Yeah, I can't hear from the distance, so Zach's relaying the message right now. What was the question again?
He's being silly.
I don't think that's silly.
No, what is a bird call?
Yeah,
how do you do it? What is a bird call?
The concept of bird call is to-go chicken sandwiches, fast casual food, right?
Yeah, and it's all natural chicken with locally sourced buns and other stuff, you know? Like spice.
I'm a fan. I love a great chicken sandwich.
I love chicken, man. I don't know why.
I know. And Bird Call
You don't know why?
Does a great job.
It's delicious.
Because it's delicious.
Zach, we want to catch up with him on another program, right? And it's kind of hard to have a conversation with him if you can't hear us.
Yeah, totally. So I just wanted to introduce you guys. We'll connect you, and he can come into the kitchen once we're back rolling normal.
I love it. That's fantastic. Cool. Zach's dropping off some spices. Zach, the Spice Guy. First of all, did you see the cool backdrop that Jay Parker put on the show today?
Yeah, dude. I commented on him and said he is a boss decorator.
He is a boss decorator. And just Zach, you're doing such great things, and I love talking business with you, right? So a few days. Let's get your take on this. Can you hear us well?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy, with us. Brian Freeman, actually, he's off camera. Pop your head in there, Brian. You remember this face, don't you? Brian's face?
Yeah, I was going to text him and say if what chefs want has spices, he doesn't need to worry about the virus because I'm coming for him.
And we do not, so you'll be happy to know.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Saving that conversation for you, sweetheart.
I'm just kidding.
One of the themes of what's going on right now, here's the week, and I think that this is the pruning week, of where folks are looking at their businesses to say, how many branches do I have out there, and what needs to be able to be pruned for the health of the plant or the tree, or in this instance, the organization. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think that actually the reason that we are surviving and, dare I say, almost in thrive mode again, it would be all the arms that we have on our business. My parents went from being multimillionaires to filing bankruptcy and losing their home in the market crash in 2008. They were in construction in Detroit area back then, so they had a lot of open money, and the bank called it, and we couldn't put it forward, so they turned everything over to those guys. So I have been thinking about how to recession-proof this business for about a year and a half. You know, you hear people say, oh, it's an election year, there are XYZ things, after there's a president change, there's all these issues. And, you know, we had been talking about how do we recession-proof this in case that does happen, because it cannot always be thriving. There has to be a flux to the universe. And so part of what we did was set up all these other arms, and that was our e-commerce business, and that was our private labeling and co-packing business. And those two arms have really kept this whole tree trunk alive, more so than ever before. We never even relied on those to be anything other than really bonuses for our employees in terms of revenue. But at the moment, they are carrying the entire business.
Zach, have you had to lay off anybody?
We did. We laid off all of our staff. originally, right at the very beginning of this. Actually, I was with Greg the Saturday night before the Monday, and we were on with the Colorado Restaurant Association, and she told me, if you're foolish to not do this, let all your people get an unemployment line first. And so I told Greg, I got in my car, cried for a little bit, and then went home and called everyone and told them, hey, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Simultaneously, this is actually like, I'm trying to get you ahead of the curve because there's going to be a substantial hurdle to cross with unemployment, as there was for the last 2 weeks. So all my people are paid right now. Thank you to Uncle Sam. And my wife and I and my business partner and his wife have been holding it down. And we try to just work in shifts 2 at a time and sanitize between everything and pass the torch and keep going.
I'm glad you said something about that, because I don't think a lot of people, they look at the business owner as a bad guy, and they don't realize that what you did is created a future for them, because being responsible business owner and making the hard decisions when they need to be made before you start losing a ton of money, while you can make the decision before it hurts the business so bad that it's going to take you down, that's actually being more responsible than trying to just struggle your way through it and find out that you're going to come out on the other side broken and non-existent.
And that's the whole thing, is we've built a culture at the Spice Guy, largely emphasized on protecting the empire, as we call it. And I'm a grassroots business owner. Nobody handed me $1 to start this thing, and nobody's handed me $1 since I've had it that I haven't worked for. We have no investors. We own no debt, and we're doing 7 figures of business a year, which not very many businesses handling physical products can grow at that clip. But I've been super blessed to have a great team around me. And ultimately, like Greg said, it's about protecting the trunk, or in my case, about protecting the empire, so that culture that I've built is there for everybody to come back to. And the second part of that is that it's to have 20 people in an 8,000 square foot space is terribly unsafe at the moment. And my employees are wonderful. Are their girlfriends and their roommates as wonderful? I doubt it. And it's not like you have to hang out in weird places to catch this. You can catch it going to the grocery store. So from my perspective, it was protect the empire and everybody's health at the same time. So the decision was hard to convey to everyone, but extremely necessary to be said, and we had to do what we have to do.
Yeah, minimizing risk.
Good for you.
There's 3 things that I want to go through, and to give you an indicator, Zach Johnston is one of those guys that I call every morning, just kind of take his temperature, and he truly has his ear to the ground out there, working in that chain in food service, to watching it break and seeing where those links are missing at this point in time. One of the things that we talked about, you spent the first couple of days, first of all, kind of just wallowing a little bit, I would say. Is that a fair assessment?
I spent precisely 1.5 days wallowing.
Yeah, and then after that, it turned more into a motivating factor of like, you're not going to bring us down. And even in your live read here, what's it called? Won't Stay Down box is what you made.
We did our whole campaign around pushing e-commerce is this idea of won't stay down. Like we'll get knocked down, but the greats get up.
What's the importance of lean and mean right now, and why did you convey that to me?
That is something that we have always been. I'm a data-driven guy. I know exactly how many orders and dollars need to happen for me to bring on my next employee, and I know exactly how many need to be missing to cut an employee. And we've had those metrics because we've had this success over 7 years, and I've been documenting it strategically the entire time. At first I thought it was just for fun, and now I realize that it actually is very helpful. But lean and mean is the name of the game, man, right now. These businesses, as Brian can attest to, they're expensive because you have to own a lot of inventory. And they're expensive because you have to have an extreme amount of staffing and delivery and distribution. Brian and I run a similar style business where we do a huge majority of our own distribution. And that is expensive. You have to have trucks, you need insurance, you need CDLs, you need people that can drive them, and they need to get paid X amount because the union said so. And all these other factors. But at the moment, if you take the employees away and you start dwindling your inventory, and getting creative with how you can use it and get it out, all of a sudden, rent's not that expensive. It is very expensive in Denver as compared to the rest of the country in a lot of places. But if that's your biggest bill, all of a sudden you can do this. And when you're in, I'm in the lucky position where I've been a cash hoarder and I've stashed a little bit of cash enough to.
Are you sure you want? Hey, shh. Cash hoarders probably shouldn't say.
No, I've stashed.
Where do you stash it, Zach?
It's here. It's right here, Greg, in my back pocket.
You got the belt, the cash
man,
belt.
I've got enough money to where I can not take a salary for 6 weeks, and my family can pay our rent. And that's not very much money, but it's enough that we can still go to work and try to figure out how to turn the little amount of money that we have into more money.
Uh-huh.
And that's the goal here, is just how do you come out of this limiting your exposure to having more bills? And for us, a lot of it was based around having employees.
So the rebuilding process with that data-driven information of building before comforts you in a certain sense of where you'll know what those milestones are.
Yeah, we know exactly the milestone where it takes to bring on the next person. And we have our team already pre-segmented, and they know that you're pre-segmented as Group A, you're Group B, and you're Group C. And if the SBA PPP loans don't work out, this is how we're going to rebuild it, and here's what the timeline looks like. And the timeline's not based on time as much as it is based on numbers.
The lean and mean. I'm hoping that business owners are listening to that right now, and I have a feeling that they are. I mean, the water finds its own level in every situation, and whether you're driven from data or just the plain climate of which you're working in, you'll probably find yourself getting leaner right now. If you're getting meaner, I don't know, but leaner for sure. Choosing who to pay first. That's been interesting to see, Zach. Are you at the top of people's lists to pay?
If you ask them, they tell you that I am.
As long as you're in the room.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Who are you seeing that's getting paid right now, and who are you seeing that's not getting paid?
Well, I know a couple of the broadliners are taking ACH, whether they're supposed to be or allowed to or not. They're taking it, the liberty.
Ooh.
And I understand the restaurants have signed a contract with them saying this is what we'll allow you to do, and that they're simply holding up their end of the bargain by taking it.
But is that ethical right now? I mean, that's listen, you can choose to do that. And I know other folks that actually people watching this stream right now who've made that decision to say, listen, I'm doing business with people and I'm going to choose to communicate and continue to do business with people after this. And I'm not going to do that broadliner F you pay me type of stance right now.
And I think that, there's a few choice people that are doing it. And I think broadliner is the right term for them at the moment. And that's not to say that the people working inside of those organizations aren't compassionate, but I think that they're all driven by the NYSE at this point, and they have to get paid, or else they're going to see an incredible change in dividends at the end of a quarter. And so when you start thinking about it on that scale, it's a little bit different. But when you're calling the restaurant that used to do $15,000 a week and is now doing $5,000, and you're telling them, you owe me $4,700 from 2 weeks ago, F you pay me, things are going to look drastically different for your relationship with that small business owner in 6 weeks when these bans are lifted and people are desperate to go out and drink beers on patios.
That's the real deal right there, boss.
It is so tricky. I mean, I got to tell you, though, think about an organization that has, even at the little size of growers, think about a $10 million operation that sells $5 million to restaurants, $5 million to grocery stores, and all of a sudden $5 million of payables isn't coming in.
Well, you're floating $500,000 at that point.
Yep.
And all the probably.
Yep. That's exactly. I mean, you're exactly right. You have at that level, you have about $500,000 of inventory any given day.
I got one last one for you. It's 4:30 on the Modern Eater live stream as we continue. Zach Johnston here with us, standing by for Johnathan Shikes, who's popping into the screen right there. So one moment, Johnathan, we're finishing up with Zach here, and I love catching up with Zach. Another thing that strikes me, Zach, is the starting and stopping. Things have come to a screeching halt for a lot of folks, but that restart of what that's going to look like. And I know we talked about innovation, and folks are probably going to have to look at restarting their menus with a couple of proteins and a handful of vegetables and a bunch of different variations. But that restarting a restaurant.
Well, we talked about that a while ago, and I said, I think a lot of restaurants are going to have to bring it with a 5-item menu. Because what these restaurants really need to do is get people in to sell booze. They need to sell as much beer and liquor as possible in those first couple weeks back so that they can recuperate cash as fast as possible. With that money that they get, they can then make their payroll and they can start getting caught up on some of these bills that they let go so far behind. And I'm not saying that they did that on purpose or that they have made a bad decision to be past due on bills. That's just the reality that we're in. The easiest, fastest way to do that, and we talked about this Saturday, was going to be a $20 inflated cocktail because everybody just got $2,000 in the mail. What the hell is a $22 cocktail all of a sudden? Nothing. So for the people in the restaurant industry, I'm encouraging everybody to get lean and mean with their menu as well. And I think a lot of people are having practice with it right now as you look inside your fridge and you really only have 3 to 5 items for proteins and you really only have 3 to 5 items for veg. People are getting creative. And I mean, you saw it with the guys at Avelina. They were on doing, a quick demo, and he's creating all kinds of stuff out of the, whatever the dumpster that a refrigerator has become at this point. But I think even now is a good time to start this lean, mean menu because people are getting desperate to go out. And we talked about this all week. I'm consider myself a pretty good cook. I spent 12 years professionally cooking, and I'm sick of my food, man. I want to eat somebody that's better than me's food. And so, I think it's time to prune the menu and get it back and go back to your basic roots. And, that's something that Jared does really well is he's got a hamburger restaurant, he's got a barbecue restaurant, and he has a pizza restaurant and a chicken one. He doesn't have all 4 of those under one house because he understands that people can do one thing really well and 4 things kind of well.
The only thing he's missing is tacos.
Hey, there's enough of those.
He'll figure it out. Zach Johnston, man, I don't know. Our friendship, I love you to death. I think the world of you. And if anybody gets the opportunity to just sit down and shoot the breeze with Zach, pick his brain, talk business with him. Great business mind. Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. It was good to hear from you, man. Greg, I hear from you often enough.
That's right. Am I still a minus or am I working my way up to a plus?
You're like the slash now.
I'm the slash. I'll take it, man. I love you, brother. We'll catch up.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
There he is, Zach Johnston, the Spice Guy. Thanks for tuning into the stream today. Got to tell you about Rome Sausage. Rome Sausage now delivering to your house, like a lot of people, putting together great boxes, right?
So are they doing it themselves or are they putting it in the mail?
They're going to deliver it to you. I think it probably is in the mail, I would guess. But it says local artesian sausage and meatball bundles delivered to your door. Order online at romesausage.com. $60 bundle. Here's what you get. How people on YouTube, they do like the unpackaging of whatever it is, a drone, and they tell you all about it. Somebody did an unpackaging of Rome Sausage. And in this bundle, you get breakfast sausage, breakfast links, Italian meatballs, jalapeno cheddar brats, bratwurst, chicken apple sausage, Italian sausage, green chili, sausage, chorizo, hot Polish kielbasa, romesausage.com. You get all that, $60.
Whoa.
Can you believe that?
Sounds like a lot.
So romesausage.com or 303-296-7663.
Greg, I got to give a shout out to somebody yesterday. We had a very terrible fire in Denver a couple days ago. A lot of people might and might not know about this, but my good friends, 2 brothers that owned Boyer's Coffee over on 76
you're
in
kidding
Washington.
me. Okay, we've been
Boyer's
there, Jay.
Coffee burned to the ground.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did. That
Holy
plant,
cow.
and you know that's really hard because those two brothers are good friends of mine, the Burroughs brothers, and they both came out of a completely different world, got into the coffee business. Their coffee business, they own the brands Boulder Organic Coffee, Luna, and Boyer's. And one of the sad things about this is these guys give a ton of money back to the community.
Let's get those guys on, Jay.
Let's get those guys on because they everyone put your thoughts and prayers for those brothers and all the workers over there at Boyer's Coffee. You've probably had it. Boyer's is Colorado's oldest coffee company.
We'll get them on.
Yeah,
absolutely. Figure out.
And so just a shout out.
We got this man here. It's 436 and Jonathan Shikes, Westword magazine. They endearingly refer to him as Colorado's beer man. I called you Colorado beer guy last time.
Yeah, but I've grown up, so now it's man.
So weird, man. Jonathan Shikes and myself, we grew up in the same neighborhood, both Denver natives. Just really, I'm older than you, so that's probably why we didn't cross each other's paths, or maybe we did. Who knows? But Jonathan Shikes joins us. First of all, let's start out with you, Jonathan, and this cool book that you have. Talk about your book for a moment.
Yeah, the book Denver Beer: A History of Mile High Brewing came out at the beginning of March, just actually a month ago today, and it's been an unusual book debut, but I've had fun. I've had a lot of great response from people online, on Facebook and social media, who have been buying it, who have been talking to me about it and reading it. So it's been fun. It's made me really grateful.
Do you have a copy in front of you?
I do.
Hold that baby up.
All right.
Look at that beautiful book. Now, is this a fair to say coffee table book?
No, it's much smaller. It's like a back pocket book, maybe.
Got some big back pockets. Some good reading in there, though. What can people expect when they leaf through that book right there?
So the book is the history of beer and brewing. It focuses on Denver, although there's a lot of Colorado material in there, and it goes all the way back to 1859 to the very first brewery that opened in Denver, and it continues through Prohibition and to the beginnings of the craft beer movement in the 1970s. And from there, it goes through different milestones and different big things that happened in beer. And it goes right all the way up through last year.
That's fantastic. I love those books, especially history in Colorado. And then you make a history with beer. I'm in and sold.
Yeah.
And people can actually order this book in many ways, but direct through you right now, I think is a really cool thing. And you'll actually take the time to put a stamp on it and send it in the mail. How can people order that book, Jonathan?
Yep. So it's right now it's available. It actually sold out on Amazon, but it's available on Tattered Cover and Book Bar on their websites. I've also got it. I have a whole bunch of copies that I was going to be, signing and selling at different events around town. Now they're in boxes in my living room, and so I'm just packaging them up and selling them to people on Facebook. If people want to reach out to me, they can get a hold of me, and I'll sign it and I'll send it, and that's how I'm adapting.
You have a personality page, right, that people can find you on?
Yeah, Colorado Beer Man. I have two. I have one fan page, and I've got also a friend page. Either one is fine. But yeah, Colorado Beer Man is where I am.
Did you ever think you'd have fans?
My mom. My mom has been my fan since forever. So yeah.
You and me both, pal. You and me both. We got great moms. So let's dig in, and here's the reason why folks are a fan of them. How long have you been writing for Westword?
Well, all told, something like 18 years. I took a break for about 5 years, and then I came back for a number of years. I've worked in different capacities there, but it's been a long time. How'd
you get Miss Calhoun to hire you?
The very first time she hired me, I made chili. I cooked her some chili, Texas Red style, and I brought it in. And I also wore a suit, which is kind of funny for an alternative weekly. But that's how I got her to hire. I was a Denver native, and she liked that, and she liked the chili. So I think that's why she hired me.
Didn't Antonation have to eat at every place on Federal from as far as
he would have done it anyway?
I think he would have too. A piece that caught my eye, and I see this it's happening everywhere. But the creativity is flowing. Let's just say one of my favorite breweries brews beers. Last night, Wednesday night, usually they do trivia in their tap room, right? Yep. That transcended into virtual, and now the same guy that does trivia does it on their Facebook page.
Right.
And people join in and they're having a great time doing trivia. And of course, they're all probably cheating or whatever, but it's all for fun and community, right?
Yeah.
The guy was carrying like 80 people consistently. And he even did like, I'm going to go get another beer. I'll be back in 3 minutes. 80 people sat there. I don't know how many people are looking at this stream right now in the 20s, right? They're doing great things in breweries. And this piece that I'm looking at here on Westword is beer calendar, right? You're used to doing a beer calendar.
Right.
This is the first, you take it from here, but this is the first time you've ever done anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, I had to figure out not exactly an entirely new way to do the beer calendar, but I have to come up with other things to put in there since no one can go to a tapping or a tasting or a release. So a few of the things, you can get curbside, you can go get takeout beer. But most of the breweries are just, when they have something, they're just putting it on and asking people to come by. But then there's these events like these virtual happy hours on Facebook, live or on Zoom or on different platforms that they're using, and I think they're having a lot of fun. And I don't think maybe some of them are people show up for, and maybe some of them people don't, but no one cares because we're all trapped in our houses. So you might as well do something. Try and get try and see some faces, some familiar faces. Get out there. So yeah, I think people are having a lot of fun doing that.
Johnathan, this is Brian. Do you think that any of this will continue? Do you think that after 37 more days or, 57 more days?
39.
39.
39 to go.
After 39 more days, do you think that this could be somewhat of a new norm for people? Do you think that, personally, I had a great time when I got my family on it, but what if you could do this and have a bar in another continent? Yeah. That's at your same time zone or, around the world.
Your favorite bar. That's a great point. Your favorite bar in Ireland.
Yeah.
Right.
And what if you could have that party with your friends in Ireland? And what if this is the time you could create that bond?
Or keep it going. Both.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like say Brews was my example to when they do open up their tap room again and do trivia to let's still stream it. Right.
Yeah,
makes sense to me. What are some of the highlights that you're seeing out there right now? I have the article in front of me. I don't know if you do.
Well, I don't have it right in front of me, but
you wrote it.
Denver Beer Company is doing a fun thing where you get you can order food in advance and the beers, have it delivered or go pick it up, and then they'll walk you through and they'll pair charcuterie was 2 of their beers. I think next week they're doing cookies. Good River Beer Company is doing a tasting where they walk you through. Somebody just did somebody's doing a brewery tour. They're walking you through the back of the brewery, showing you how it works. So there's some of those things going on. I'm trying to think what else they're doing. There's a lot of different things. There's virtual happy hours. Burns Family Artisan Ale is doing a virtual happy hour. I think it's only 20 minutes, each night, but they're doing it every night. You can get on there, crack a beer, talk about it, and then go about your business after that. So
I gotta ask the question: have you done any of these? I mean, if the Colorado Beerman shows up on here, you're like, whoa, right? I mean, that's pretty cool. You popping in on them?
I went into, there's a Facebook group called New England style hazy. What are they called? They're gonna kill me for forgetting the exact name of it. But it's the New England style, Colorado New England style hazy Facebook page. And so I got in there on a Zoom call. I haven't done any of the virtual happy hours yet, but I'm planning to show up on a couple of them and have some fun.
I'm going to throw the link to your article in our stream.
Let me ask you, what's your favorite food and beer pairing when life is normal and you can go anywhere you want?
Yeah.
Where do you like to go that has great beer, but they've also found the right food to pair it with?
There's a lot of places that can do it really well. I can never turn down a hops and pie pizza and the hoppiest beer I can find on top there. That's going to make me happy every time. The wings at Walters 303 and some of the hoppy beers you can get there is lovely. And Good Zur, which does all sour beers, has some amazing charcuterie. They have cheese. They have all kinds of cheese, and then they have a butter. They have a flight of butter, so you can get 4 kinds of butter made out of different kinds of milk, paired with your sour beers, and that's an amazing one too.
You know, it's funny you say that. I always thought bread was just a vehicle to get more butter.
Yeah.
I'm like one of those guys. I would sit down and eat a whole loaf of bread just so I could eat a half a stick of butter.
But they just go so well together. Jonathan, we're going to make you show us around and see some beer. Do you have any beer in your fridge? Do you have a beer fridge? Don't let us down.
I do. I have a couple of beer fridges.
Oh, now we're talking. It's like you better have at least, and he's like, no, I have 2.
I like this part of the show because we're going to get a tour, right?
Yeah,
we're going to ask Johnathan for
Dr.
a little.
Sara Metz is going to join us here in just a minute, but for right now, Johnathan Shikes from Westword is going to show us his beer coolers.
Am I going mobile?
You're going mobile, man.
Do it.
All right. We'll go mobile.
What shirt you have on there?
Oh, it's there's a poster that has all the beers, and I think they made a shirt out of it too. It's got all these beer styles.
Nice.
All right, I'm going mobile here.
What's your favorite style of beer while you're walking?
Oops.
That works. We've got a doctor on the phone. She's going to be identifying whether anything's good in there or not.
Ooh, look at that. She's not a beer drinker. She's a cocktail gal.
Yeah. We got some Bull and Bush, and can you see? I don't know if I'm holding this well.
Yeah, we can see it.
That is some fancy. That's a fancy beer cooler.
We got Fiction and Pros. We got New Image and Denver Beer Company, Cerebral, Bull and Bush. This is supposed to be a wine fridge, but
what temperature are you storing all that at?
So our fridge is kind of on the fritz a little, so it bounces between 47 and 52. I try to keep them at 52. But I can't figure out how to.
Well, that's pretty fancy.
But I'm glad you're saying that to our viewers because a lot of people would say, "Why isn't it at 32 degrees?"
Look at the one-offs you have. Are you drinking any of those, man, or are you just hoarding them?
Oh, they'll be gone in a couple weeks.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
There's my secret buttery Chardonnay that my wife and I drink.
Oh, that looks fantastic, buttery Chardonnay. You got any spirits, Johnathan?
I don't have a whole lot of spirits. I don't really do much spirits.
Sticking with the beer.
Yeah, I mainly just focus on the beer.
Real quick, because we got to go. But tell me, have you tried kombucha beer yet?
The only kombucha beer that I've tried was from New Image in Arvada, and it's pretty tart. You have to really like that profile, I think. People love it. But that's the only one I've had.
Westword Magazine's Johnathan Shikes, otherwise known as AKA Colorado Beer Man. Plug the book again, Johnathan, before we let you go.
Absolutely. Denver Beer, History of Mile High Brewing. It's you can find me on Facebook. Get it at tattercover.com, Book Bar. Even Barnes & Noble, I think, has got it online.
Cheers, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Talk soon. Johnathan Shikes.
All right, bye-bye.
Colorado Beer Man. Hey, listen, you don't get an opportunity really to see the Colorado Beer Man's fridges like that, but he legitimized himself.
Yes, he did. He did.
All right, let's do it. It's our favorite time of day. Here she is. Dr. Baby Yoda, Dr. Sara Metz joins us. Have you met Brian Freeman? I think this is the first time that you guys have met face-to-face. Or she can't. Hi, Brian Freeman.
Hello there, Doctor.
Although I don't see you face to face, I only see my beautiful friend Greg here. But
yeah, Jay, I have a face for radio, so that's why Jay keeps me off of.
We're practicing physical distancing, and I have a new setup for the kitchen, so he's stuck where he is, and just deal with it.
He's in a bar stool.
Lovely voice you have, so that's good.
So before we start, I did give you some homework.
You did give
right?
me homework.
Well, first of all, it's good to see you're alive. You weren't killed by Dave Avery.
I was not yet. I still have his toys. It hasn't killed me yet, so we're good.
You would have just the weirdest timing. Who walked in the back door of the kitchen here is Dave Avery. He's probably here to kill us.
Oh, did he buy you toys too?
I don't know if he brought any toys. He's washing his hands right now.
The 3D version of your face? I think he promised you that, didn't he?
I don't know what he promised us. But so, Doctor, I gave you some homework. We'll get to that, see if it worked. But Brian Freeman, and I don't know whether it's paranoia versus careful, or he's one of those folks right now to where coronavirus is freaking him out.
Yeah.
Going places, being around people, working with that. How do you balance paranoia versus being careful?
I think a lot of it comes down to everyone's stuck in anxiety mode, and it's that what if thinking. And what's interesting is high performers always do what if thinking. All of you out there do what if thinking, but you add something to it. You actually answer your question. You're constantly asking, what if this happens? What if that happens? And you answer it, which is what gives you confidence that you can perform well. But right now, everyone is so freaked out. They're asking themselves, what if? And they're not answering the question. So they're bouncing off the walls with fear and anxiety and paranoia, and they can't calm themselves. They can't get a hold of that anxiety. So I would guess that a lot of people are stuck in that mode. You just have to slow down and actually say, okay, what if? What if that bad thing happened to you? What would you do?
And Sara, thank you for Dr. saying that. One of the questions that I would go with this is, you know, and to give you a little background, I'm a little bit older than the two guys that I work with here. And I grew up in the time of AIDS.
Okay.
And, you know, when I was in high school, AIDS was something that kept you fearful.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I brought to these guys, an analogy that I made with Greg the other day is what scares me about what's going on right now is that it's not about the people that I trust. You know, it's not about me coming down to the studio and I know Greg, and
Right.
I know Greg's just as paranoid as I am. Just doesn't show it in the same way, but you know, I know
think
he's
I'm
not.
Just more I wash my hands, and when I get home, I take a shower. I
But what
try
you
and
limit is
distance
people
myself.
because
but I
it's
think
not
you're just
like
mitigating. You know, you're trying to. Hey guys, whatever you're doing, don't do it right now.
So this
Whatever.
concept of where I'm going, Doctor, with this is it's not about what I subject myself with Greg.
Uh-huh.
It's about the other people that Greg
Sure.
doesn't know that he's come in contact
Right.
with,
Right.
because it's just like that whole thing it's not, you're not as worried about who you're with tonight, but all the people that they were
That
with
they've ever been
before.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm guessing the first responders are feeling this right now.
Yeah, and that's the scary part is they're feeling that same way of, well, they're willing to put themselves at risk, but they are not willing to put their families at risk. And so they go out and they do their jobs, but then they go home and they're like, I can't hug my kids. I am terrified that I'm going to now give this to my kids because I know where I've been, but I don't know where all those other people were that I've had to deal with. And that's the scary part. And so it is this sense of, well, what can you control? You can't control everything. So you really have to put your energy into the things that you can control.
I've just resigned to the fact is that we're all probably going to be touched by this at some point, and resigning yourself to the worst case scenario a lot of times is healthy, I would believe.
And I would say, yeah, and I'm kind of in that same boat where I'm trying to take calculated risk. I'm trying to balance what's really necessary and what's not necessary. And Greg, you and I have talked about this, that, you know, you're taking care of your mom and you drop off lunch to her and you drop off a sandwich, but you don't go in and give her a big hug. And I do the same. I check in on my mom, but I'm calculating that risk and I'm not going to engage with her in the same way I normally would because she's high risk. And so I'm not going to necessarily not leave my house and not do anything, but I'm going to protect the people that I know are higher risk and engage and interact with them a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you say, though, what is the worst case scenario, Greg? Where do you go with?
I mean, we're all carriers at some point.
Well, but is that worst case scenario, or is it death? Is that would someone be concerned? Is that where their mind goes?
I guess that's a whole other conversation, which I'm willing to have. Probably not right now, but off air. But you know, you look at the coronavirus deaths right now, and you got to wonder how many of those folks died because they were on their way out with something else. And so everything's labeled as if you had coronavirus and you died today, you died because of coronavirus.
Well, but doctor, aren't we seeing some people that were healthy that have started? Isn't there more concern right now?
But 100 people a day fall out of their bed and die in the U.S. So of course there's things that happen. And again, we're going in a way different. And it's interesting. And Brian brings the deepness out a lot, and I love it too.
About it.
Yes, very thoughtful. Doctor, yesterday when we left homework, I wanted you to kind of lecture to us a little bit about, I ask a lot of questions. Hopefully some of them are good. But what are we missing that might be some things that I wouldn't ask you?
Oh, well, that's deep. I think you're asking great questions. I think the common theme that I'm hearing, Brian, you're bringing some of that in, Greg, Jay, Rebecca, you guys have all been kind of circling that same theme of that uncertainty, that fear, that paranoia. And I think it's just really important. Again, we've talked about it a little bit already today, is helping people really try to calm that energy and think about other times in your life where you've been afraid, because it's fear energy that everyone's feeling. This is not actually the first time people have been afraid in their lives. So how have you managed fear in the past? What are the things that you've done? And what we know from performance psychology, sports psychology, health psychology, all of this is a lot of it comes down to self-talk. How are you actually talking to yourself? Are you actually doing something to manage that fear and not get stuck in just worst case scenario? Mm-hmm. So worst case scenario is something people have to prepare for, but I've also told people, what is best case scenario? What's the other side of that? And what's the most likely thing to happen? The most likely thing to happen is that, yes, the sad but true answer is some people will die and a lot more people will get sick. But at some point this will end and we'll all get back to our lives. And what will that look like? And so it's balancing all of that and not just getting stuck in that worst case scenario mindset.
Well, the human brain can convince you of anything. You can convince yourself to get sick.
Right.
You can heal yourself with the brain.
Yeah. And so people have to just recognize that's only one piece of it. And the same way chef owners who have opened up restaurants, they were afraid and they thought, what if this fails? What if nobody comes? What if it's a complete bomb? What did they do to help themselves get past that fear? It was something that they said, you know what, I'm passionate about this. I'm going to be persistent. I've got grit. I'm going to figure it out. And we're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. And so it's that same grit that people need right now.
I think positive thinking, and Brian, this is no shot at you. Positive thinking, but being careful too. And I like the extreme careful. I try and do the same things, but if it cripples you, that's where you're gonna have a difficult time.
Yeah. Well, it's, in my particular situation, it's tricky just because, my kid's mother, and we live down the street from each other.
That's actually a great point. And I don't have that. I don't have children around me, but there's a sense of where you feel responsible for your children.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't see my kids right now. I mean, I can. I go to the house, I stay outside, and I talk to them off the balcony. But I'm in a place of where
you're going to work every day.
I'm going to work every day. I'm in the food service environment, so I'm still seeing a lot of people on a daily basis because we're a distributor. We're a food distributor.
I think that's responsible.
And so so I've been in the situation of where I'm really more protective of my children. Yeah. But it's brought out some very interesting conversations. I'll tell you, because now my children are locked up in the house.
I think whatever comes of this conversation, I find it to be very real. Yeah. This would be dinner table conversation for sure. And I guess it's how you process it, Doctor. I'm just a firm believer in being positive and balanced.
Yes.
And know some things that won't go your way or correctly, but being prepared as well, Well,
so, I think it's interesting. What I'd love to ask the doctor is what do you think will come out of this that will change people's habits forever?
Their psyche?
Yeah. Is it going to change? I mean, am I going to wash my hands more every day? Am I going to start using more Purell? What is it? What I'm curious from the doctor's perspective.
And just quickly before you answer, Doctor, I touched on this a while back. It's interesting when you go to a funeral and you're just, I'm so into this and I'm valuing life so much more and friendships and everything, and you really truly believe it. But then in a month and a half, you're just back to normal person type of thing.
And that's where I think you make a good point, Brian, to your question. I think that this, and Greg, to your point too, with a funeral, you're right. We make these short-term promises to be more attuned and more grateful and to be more joyful and to be more appreciative, and then it kind of fades away. I think that this is so long-term, and it's just bringing everybody to their knees, with just wow, this is impacting them in such in an extreme way. I hope that maybe we do take more precautions. We're a little bit more careful about hand washing and things like that. But I also hope on the other side of that, it causes people to be more grateful and more appreciative and more aware. I feel like we all kind of live in fast forward. If you think back to February, January, before all this hit, I know I did. I'm always go, go, go constantly. And I think this is causing me to slow down. And I'm actually thinking, wow, this is in some ways kind of nice to change up routine and to slow down a little bit and be more grateful for things. And I hope that doesn't go away. I think it's easy to let it go and things get back to normal, but I hope some of that sticks.
And the relationships, I can't wait to hug my mom again.
Yes.
I mean, I really can't.
I checked on my mom and I thought, gosh, I miss hugging my mom.
So I'm hoping that folks take that away from them. Like when you do get to be intimate with your loved ones again, that you really cherish that it's a privilege for that. And hopefully, the things that we're seeing, wash your hands and the due diligence, I'm hoping that carries over for, however, forever type of thing.
Yeah.
I would be very happy about that because I wash my hands a lot already.
Yes, you do. I'm seeing folks that are lacking that intimacy or connection, and they're alone, right?
Right.
Things that they're doing are like to get that touch or that feeling of being surrounded are baths, having water surround them.
I think that's good. And I think, again, I think a lot of people who have pets at home are petting their pets more and just, I think there is that need to be physically close or have something. And so weighted blankets, if you got weighted blankets to get that kind of closeness feel, or baths or whatever it is, I think all of that, I think a lot of people are missing it.
Maybe this is a good time to market one of those vests that you get for a dog that makes the dog. What is that called?
The Thunder Vest. My dog has one of those. Yeah.
Yes, to calm. Maybe we need a human Thunder Vest.
Yeah, I'll try it.
How much for that painting back there, Doctor?
What now?
How much for that painting right there?
Which one can you see? Can you see my Italy one? I don't even know.
Is that a puzzle? The Italy one?
No, I do have the puzzles downstairs. That's actually one of my very favorite paintings. It's a Venice, but I have a puzzle downstairs that is put together and glued.
Before you leave, will you show that painting to us? One of your favorite ones. Okay, what do you have for us, Doctor? Anything?
I think that was the big one. I want people to remember that you've been nervous, you've been anxious, you've been these things before. Harness that energy and stop. Try to be careful to not see that as, oh my God, something's horribly wrong. Yes, something's horribly wrong. However, those emotions are normal. You're allowed to feel those emotions. Try to actually just allow them to exist and remember to not get stuck in what if thinking without answering the question. Slow down and answer each question. What if this thing happened? How likely is it that thing is going to happen? When people are like, oh my God, what if I get it? What if I die? Okay, well, that would suck. Mm-hmm. However, how likely is it? What can you do? What can you do to control your situation to prevent that from happening? And is that something you actually even want to do? We have to keep in mind, we all take a risk to get in our cars and drive, and there's a huge risk to that. We could die if we get in our cars, and that could prevent us from doing it, but yet we choose to drive. Why is that? It becomes a risk we're willing to take because of the world, and we want to be a part of that. And
I'm glad you said that. Here's one for you.
Yeah.
Jay's terrified of flying. He hates getting on planes.
I hate flying too.
Do you really?
I hate flying.
So you have no advice.
But I do it. I do fly because it's worth it to me. Because I get to see beautiful places. I get to go places and create those memories. And so I say, you know what? I hate flying. And I actually almost got in a flight accident. I was flying into Antarctica, which is rare, but the plane almost went down at the South Pole, and I was the only passenger, and I thought my mom is going to kill me and if I die in Antarctica. And so the plane almost crashed, and I cried on like every flight for probably a year after that because it freaked me out so much. But I kept flying because I love to travel. And I'm going to keep eating out because I love to eat out. And I'm going to keep getting out in the world because I love the world. And I think it's important to take reasonable risks, which we do every day, because we have to live. We have to participate. We have to actively enjoy our lives.
That's right. Jay?
What do you mean almost went down?
They were yelling, pull up, which is bad in flight language. That's not good.
Now, I get anxiety just hearing that story. And furthermore, I'll say two things. One, I turned down a trip to Japan when I was about 24. I was a manager at an Outback Steakhouse, and they were opening one in Japan. And they said, hey, good news, because you're so awesome, we've selected you to go overseas, and it's 3 weeks of everything paid for, and you love Japanese women, so it should work out. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I said, how long is the flight? And they gave me a number that was over 2 hours. And I said, next, please. No. And I gave that up. And then two, I don't have any plans at all right now to get on an airplane, and talking about just the mere conversation of airplanes up and down side, I get anxiety, and I don't even plan on getting on a plane. So that's it.
So there's no reward for Jay, Doctor. There's no, it's not better that he gets on the plane. He would rather walk, take a train, or just Uber
drive
himself. Yeah, he will Uber himself there.
He completely does.
Which,
all right.
Again, the science behind that is the more you avoid it, the more anxiety you feel. And so, again, and Jay, he makes it work for himself. But here's anxiety. Jay, your anxiety spikes now because you've avoided it so many times that now even the thought of it, your body responds to that and is telling you, don't even think about it. Don't even go there.
Well, listen, I respectfully disagree that my anxiety spikes because I've avoided it.
She's right. She's a doctor.
Well, I know she's a doctor. She may have gone to school a little bit longer than I have, but here's the thing. My anxiety doesn't spike because I've avoided it. My anxiety spikes because you're 30,000 feet above the ground in a big metal box that I can't control.
It's floating around. You're nice and safe.
You know what I mean?
But do you get anxious when you drive?
He's a terrible driver.
No, more people die in their car than on a plane.
They do. Listen, more people die in a car, so now it's creating.
Listen,
bingo.
Thank
you, Doctor.
I'm completely aware of statistics. I understand how they work, and I say all the time that it's basic math. I mean, human existence.
I love how secure Brian is right now because he will fly, but he won't go outside right now. You know.
Oh well, I feel bad for people who've been around the studio because when I come in, I mean, truly, I give people dirty looks. I really like Ryan Nagley, and I won't get near him.
But you don't go circle the airplane and look in every. Is this motor working?
Oh no, I sat outside when I saw an extra car here, and I'm like, do I even go in? And I promise, Greg,
I'm so glad we're having a laugh at the end of this, Doctor. I think we all just need to spend a second here and breathe. What do you think?
Yes. Deep breaths. Set
yeah.
Intention for the evening. Be calm.
Take us through it, please. Bring us there, Doctor.
So when you're taking those deep breaths, you want to breathe in to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're comfortable, hold to a count of 2, and then out through your mouth as if you're breathing through a straw. So you're breathing in through your nose with your mouth closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. 1, 2. And then out through the straw for a count of 4.
And Doctor, tell people why it's important to keep your mouth actually a little closed.
Breath. Oh yeah.
Well, there's something to the fact of what she was saying. To breathe out lips. Like through a straw.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure where you're going with through the straw. What do you got? What do you think, Brian?
No. I was just thinking because you don't want you want to have controlled breath.
Yes, it is
versus.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, but there is something because I had some problems with my larynx when I was younger, and I had to do these breathing exercises.
Yeah.
And one of the things was I had to, I was using your words to breathe out through a straw, but it was where they wanted you to push on your breath so it actually
all the way out.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to make sure that you're almost. We teach kiddos about balloon breath and making sure that their stomach expands out as they breathe in and then all the way out, with that out breath and making sure that you're getting that full oxygen intake and out.
I don't know if you were able to tune in at the beginning of the show, probably not, but you want to leave on a laugh?
Yes, please.
So I hope she can see it. I don't know if she can see it on her end. The photo of me and then do you have another device near you to where you can see the stream? The live stream.
No, it'll crackle if I have both open.
You can't turn it down though? The other one, I'd love to be able to do that. So what I'm trying to do, Doctor, is I want to show you a photo of me when I was about 22 years old, right?
Oh, this is going to be good.
And then there's a video that's going out right now in the tune of Staying Alive. And it's the coronavirus Staying Alive tune. And there's a guy playing guitar that looks like the 23-year-old Greg. And I got text messages from people sending me this video. I mean, this is a doppelganger.
Wow.
So if you can somehow get the live stream up, I want to send you away the day with a laugh.
All right.
And it'll kick in. You know, the stream's probably 20 seconds behind. And while we do that, I want to tell you about John Irvin and Gluten-Free Things. If you are gluten-free, the dedicated gluten-free vegan bakery in Arvada. Jay's probably going crazy. Like, man, you're having me do a million things. Truly, we've seen people cry going into the bakery to say, I miss bread, I miss cupcakes, I miss cakes in general, hot dog buns, the whole thing. He makes delicious gluten-free products, and you can order them online at glutenfreethings.com or go to his bakery in Arvada. The retail location is still open and ready for business. That's in Arvada. Just look them up online, glutenfreethings.com. You have the stream up, Doctor?
I have the stream up. I'm
all right,
on that.
put the volume down on that.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to show you a photo of me first. When that pops in, Jay, you tell us when it's up. So that photo is going to be coming at you here in just a second.
And there's volume. It's playing the song right now. I'm just playing the video so you can see it all. We don't hear it, but it's happening.
Did you see the photo of me?
Yeah.
All right.
That's quite the shot. I like it.
Well, listen, you know. Well, when you were in your teens and 20s, were you always the beautiful doctor, or did you grow into yourself here, doctor?
I probably ruined myself. I think back in the day with like the big plastic glasses. I had the purple when I was a kid. The purple glasses. Yeah, it was not pretty. It was pretty traumatic. Yeah.
Braces, the whole 9 yards.
Braces, headgear. I had headgear.
Headgear, yes, absolutely. The awkwardness. Yeah. Tomorrow's Friday. Can you believe it?
I'm happy about that.
I am too.
Yes.
So tomorrow, when we meet up with you,
yeah,
all about upbeat and happy going into the weekend. All
yes.
right, cool. And then if you could dig out some of those embarrassing photos of yourself.
Anywhere in the house, they are
yes,
buried in my mother's house. They will never be found. And now you've said that, Nick is going to look. He's going to hunt something down.
Please, Nick, please, for the love.
Yeah.
Please look.
What he will find for you is on our wedding day in front of the pastor, I flipped him off.
Really?
Yeah.
We want that one too. Nick, just send it to jay@themoderneater.com, Nick.
You got it.
jay@themoderneater.com. Thank you, Dr. Metz.
Love you all.
We love you too. There she is, Dr. Sara Metz.
Bye.
Dr. Baby Yoda. We love her so much. Guys, what a show. When this ends, if you didn't catch the beginning of the show, 3 and change hours ago, Josh Niernberg, amazing man. Can't wait to get back up there, sit on that patio, eat some of that delicious scratch-made food. And
remember that charcuterie plate?
Oh, he's
off the hook. Well, and I know where he gets all his meat. I know where he gets so much of his food. He's using the best ingredients that can be found. And it shows because his food just is incredible at both Ben 707 and Taco Party.
Taco Party. Jay Parker, great job. Let's see if I can do this. Throw that up. Oh, trying to get that over to the. I know. I'll hit it though. I'm gonna hit that deal tomorrow, 2 p.m. Working on some great stuff. Jay, tell people who you're working on.
Tomorrow, Ryan Odell from Odell Brewing. We're going to have Chef Noah Siebenaller, Jay Johnson from Bear Creek Distilling, and then Dr. Metz. And she'll be back, obviously, and then I'm working on a few other folks.
Come on, tell us.
Who
That'd
you
be great.
working
You'll
on?
get 'em.
The girls over Pacific Ocean, Boyer's
Betty?
Coffee's on my list.
Adam,
Dr. William
Jason, if you
Blanchett.
need an email for those guys.
I'm working on Julia Hertz from the Brewers Association. I spoke with her today. Debbie Ortega, Councilwoman Debbie Ortega, and Adam Schlegel. Hopefully, if things work out right, they'll be starting the show tomorrow. But that I have to work on.
all you guys tuning in, thank you very much. Love having you here each and every day. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to bring you another great show starting at 2 p.m. If you like this, share it with a friend. Do us a favor and throw a little like on there and allow notifications to when the Modern Eater goes live to join you on your smartphone or tablet or even your computer. We'd love to just be there and keep you company.
And follow us on Instagram.
Yeah. Good
YouTube.
Stuff on. Although our Instagram's kind of struggling, our website, themoderneater.com, is kind of struggling a little bit because usually, we're working throughout the week to dissect the Saturday show and put great posts up there. Haven't been able to do much of that.
But the whole thing is you know what, Greg? I think there's a lot of people that are new to the show right now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And there's a lot of content out there that we've been working
5
on
years,
for the longest. And
all
the road trip.
I should probably turn my microphone on. All the daily streams since coronavirus started, they're there on the website. So the Saturday show kind of has taken a backseat to it, but at the same time, the last few shows have been, this topic anyway. But you can go to the moderneater.com and see all of the daily streams since the shutdowns have started.
Great job, everybody. Rebecca Berry, we'll see you out on the streets getting us good content. And guess why we're ending the live stream? I got to use the restroom, man. Woo! All right, cool. See you tomorrow. The Modern Eater Show